Yippee! Hi. Hello. Hello. Hello, it's me, the rat. How much is 5 months of rat years? Thank you, Anna, for the 5 months. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yippee, yippee, yippee. Soup. 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 Hi. Hi. The silly rat thing. It's me, the rat. It's me, the rat. Your voice sounds good again? Yeah, it's like mostly back. It still hurts a little bit, like it's a little bit scratchy, but we take what we can get. So you're gonna be in a new group project? Which one? Which one? I'm assuming it's the karaoke relay at the end of the week. A little soup? Yeah, just a little soup this time. Will be a limited stream time again? I don't think so. I think we're gonna do a full stream today. I think, ideally. We should be good. I've kind of paced it specifically so we're doing, you know, something that I don't have to be yapping the whole time. So it should be better on my throat. I should be able to, you know, I should be able to tough it out for like the minimum 4 hours. Which is the plan. That's the plan. Vermin lady, that's me! Just so many group projects, she's lost track of them. Kind of a little bit. A little bit. I keep signing up for things. Maximum 4 hours? Ah, dang it. We'll see. We'll see. It's called a Gleekathon? Yes, it is! See, actually, that is probably a good idea, because it probably is also think of the check-ins, thank you. It probably is a good idea to, you know, not go overboard and do like 6 hours or something today, because I have a karaoke relay at the end of the week. And that is, it's Glee themed. We could only pick a selection of songs out of the 700 different songs that were sung on Glee. Very fitting Benny and Ava hosting something Glee related, hell yeah. Scrooge, thank you so much for the 2 months of Prime, thank you, thank you! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! Yeah, we had to choose out of the available songs from Glee, of which there are about 700, spanning pretty much, I'll take it with hydrate. Thank you later, I am. Singing does tend to require a voice, yeah. I need to be verbal for karaoke. But I have picked my songs. There might be a little overlap between everyone, but we have genuinely tried our best to not overlap. So everyone's gonna have a different set list, which is great. It's gonna be awesome. You know, you wanna know how I got, selected for it? I believe, I don't remember who, I believe it was Ava asked Mamie, or it might have been Benny, I don't remember. One of them asked Mamie, "Hey Mamie, do you know anyone who watches Glee?" And Mamie said, "Oh yes I do." Mamie said, "Oh yes I do." And then I got a DM from Ava. I got a DM, and I said, "Well yes of course, I would love to join." And then, we were asked, like, "Hey, does anyone that's in here already know anyone else who would like to participate?" And I said, "Well, you see, once upon a time, by which I mean approximately 2 to 3 years ago, I and a certain Wumbo Jambus, alongside some of our other friends, binge-watched literally all of Glee over the course of, like, 2 months. So I said, yes, I do know someone who is also a fan of Glee, because it was my fault. So that's why Wumbo's there as well." It was all for this. It was all leading up to this moment. Wumbo didn't know it at the time, but I foresaw the future, where there would be a Glee-themed karaoke relay. And I knew I had to make her watch that show 2 years in advance, just so we were ready. A healthy rat is a happy chat. So true. So true. What did your doctor prescribe for a hydrate routine? Every minute, every 2 minutes? It's probably gonna be every 2 minutes, huh? It's probably gonna be frequent. Sounds like a gleeful time. Yeah, I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so fun. I'm excited. I'm excited. I think Arisa hates us. No. No, she hates us. 2 minutes is that? Fantastic. I'm gonna be so hydrated. I also still have my coffee here that I've been slowly sipping my way through while I set up for stuff. Still have my coffee as well, so I'm kind of alternating. It's decaf though, don't worry. It's decaf. It's decaf. No heart issues today. Sacred bean juice, the bean juice. I love caffeine, but it's been so long. Twitch finally loaded. Oh no, is it broken? Is it been broken? You should play Clan Pestilence while sick. Oh, I do. I want to play more. That's probably a next week thing. That's probably a next week thing. Currently, for me, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm glad it's fixed now. I'm glad it's fixed. Yeah, the watching videos of dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. Hell yeah. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I haven't organized the schedule for next week yet. But currently on like the list of active plans, let's see. I want to play Don't Stop Girly Pop because that's out, I believe, as of like tomorrow. I think that's like coming out. I feel like that'll be a fun one to try. So I want to try Don't Stop Girly Pop, which is like that super glittery, like Y2K themed, you know, like rhinestones and sparkles and pink gun first-person shooter game. Which just feels right up my alley, you know? I'm excited for that one. So we'll try that next week. VSMP is also starting up. So I'm gonna try VSMP. Don't Stop Girly Pop is in 2 days. Okay, 2 days from now. 2 days from now. We'll be playing that. And then we gotta play the VSMP launch. We have to play Expedition 33, which has been pushed multiple times now, at the perfect horror game for you. It's a game that's 100% jump scares, and if your voice goes above a whisper, it auto-kills you. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I definitely need to... Hightail and VSMP were eating good? Yeah! I'm so excited. I'm so excited. If you didn't see already, last night, or yesterday afternoon, I forget what time it was, but I jumped on the GlitchStars Hightail server just to like set up, make sure I could get everything working. And I hung out with Limina and Amaya for a bit, so those VODs are up if you want to go and watch that after stream today, because I hung out there for a little while. I didn't think I was going to be there long, so I didn't think to announce it, and then all of a sudden several hours had passed. But yeah, I helped them get familiar with certain parts of the game. We built all, well, for the most part. You can hydrate. Need to go see that VOD now for sure. Yeah, it was fun. We just chatted for like a little while, and we started building up a starter house so that we could all have like a sort of starting space to be. But yeah, that's what I got up to yesterday. And what else? I'm trying to think if there are any other updates I need to give. Hope you're feeling better soon. Thank you. I hope so too. I am feeling better a little bit. You know, my throat's still a little bit dry. But you know, it's fixing. It's fixing. I'm better than I was a couple days ago at least, so I'll take it. I'll take it. Typical boss. Yeah. Hope you're okay. Yeah, I am. Just still a little bit sick, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll stop being better soon. Where did time minutes go? That's what I'm saying. Oh wait, that's what I'm talking about. The schedule. So I'm currently thinking, Don't Stop Girly Pop, VSMP, Expedition 33, Warhammer. You know, Total War specifically. And what else do I need to... I'm trying to think if there's like a thing on... What's my calendar? Is there like a thing that I need to be there for? I'm not sure. Yo, thank you for the raid! Hi! Thank you for the raid, welcome! How are you? I am Arisa, Noonish, Dylan, Mimikata, GlitchStars, Zapper, Dice, Squeak, welcome! Bite the raiders! Fight them! Get them! I should really not be doing that voice while I'm sick. Bring the hydrate.
I admit, guns already make me a bit hard, but gun under sexy lingerie makes me 100% hard.
I need to make that redeem cost more. Hi, welcome! Hi, welcome raiders. How are you? Hope you had a good time. What'd you get up to? I am a little bit sick right now, so over here, we are going to be doing some video watching. A little bit Warhammer focused. You've been saying you're gonna raise the price for the bit, so I've been enjoying it being discounted. Yeah, that's true. Oh man. Doing okay with the heat wave loss? I am suffering immensely. It is hot and it is gross. And I'm ready for it to be autumn now. I am ready for it to be autumn now. Soon we'll be free. The Discord invite's expired. Oh no, which one? Hi, thank you for the raid. Hope you feel better. Yeah, I hope so too. I'll probably be better in the next couple days, you know? I'll probably be better in the next couple days. Still just a little bit of a scratchy throat, so we're easing back in, you know? We're easing our way back in. Figure everyone in GlitchStars will eventually join the Warhammer cult. That's what I'm saying, because peer pressure works. Peer pressure works, and we love to do peer pressure. We love peer pressure. Why did my thing just crash? Hello? My window. Oh wait, okay, it didn't crash. We're good. It just refreshed and added a new tab to sign into my stream deck. Okay, there we go. Tab back over. We're so back. I fixed it. I fixed it. Thank you for the hydrate. Maple says she wasn't gonna do Warhammer because she hates us. We'll get her eventually. We have to drag her in. Wish you the best with the heat. I got out of it by spending January in Paris. Ooh, that just means I'll be back in Oz for the hottest month of the year. Oh no. Oh man. Hopefully you don't have to deal with too much of it when you get back. Hopefully the heat wave at least has resolved itself. Oh man. Let's see. Oh yeah, which Discord link was expired? Is the one linked in the description? Because I'll have to fix that. I'll have to fix that. You got a lot of games you need to finish, too many pick. I know. There's so many. I need to like, which one do I want to like finish, you know? I don't know which one I want to like finish. I don't know. Description one. Oh, I see. Okay. Let me fix that. Let's get this one and invite and a never expires, but we know that's a lie. We know that one's a lie. Copy. Okay. There we are. Hello, Reds. Hello, welcome. How you feeling? Still sick? A little bit better. A little bit better, you know? Every time you say I might do Valhalla next week, you were stricken with disease and throat pain. I know. I need to stop jinxing it. Never expires until it suddenly does. Yeah, it chooses to be a liar. It's a little bit evil. It's a little bit evil and mean. Okay, let me update that. This one. Mochi was sick and decided to stream twice. Duffy and Mochi. Yeah, I know, don't worry. I'm attempting to ease my way back over, you know? I'm attempting to ease my way back over. Where is it? Discord. Where is it? Where do I put it? Where is it? Agency, tags, streaming, social media, credits. Merch. Aha! There it is. No, don't replace the whole description. There. Okay. Hopefully, that should fix it. Can you still get custom Discord, like, tags? Can you still get custom Discord links? I know that used to be a thing with the Discord Partner Program, but I think they stopped. Didn't they shut down the Discord Partner Program? I don't remember how you can get a link now. Miwa, thank you for the raid as well. Hi, welcome. Miwa is sane and happy and has cold pizza. She will take a bite out of raid. Miwa is sane and happy and has a cold pizza. She will take a bite out of raid. That's a fantastic raid message. That's a good raid. That's a really good raid message. I like that. Hi, welcome. I am Arisa, Noonish, Dylan, Mimicratic, GlitchStars, Outbreaks, Squeak, yeah, welcome. I have a little bit of a cold, so it still sound a little crunchy, but, you know, we ball. And thank you for the follow, welcome. I really enjoy this raid message. It really provides all the context I need. Leave the hedge, It really does provide all the context that I need. But yeah, today, I am still squeak it, we ball. That's great. But yeah, I am still a little bit sick. I am better than I have been, but I do still have a bit of a cold. So today we're doing some reacts so that I don't have to yap as much as usual. We'll be watching some stuff. I've got a, what do I have? I do have a document. I have a document that I've organized, with sort of a list, that we're gonna go through. I don't know if we'll get to all of them today. I think we may kind of pick and choose as we go, diving into the Warhammer mines, specifically diving into some Skaven stuff, because I want to know the Skaven lore, because that seems to be kind of the niche I've fallen into specifically. Like, yeah, the rest is cool, I guess. The rest is cool. But I like the rats with guns and hamster wheels that kill you. Miwa is being mauled by wolves. No, Miwa! Miwa, no! Miwa's currently in a death loop getting mauled by wolves. Please send dudes. Oh no, Miwa! Free her! Free her! Should give Vermintide a try if you haven't. I have actually. I think we're playing more soon, actually. Like, no promises, but, Mochi has a, like an anniversary thing coming up, so she's organizing collabs, with each gen, and the Outbreak idea is Vermintide. The Outbreak idea is Vermintide, you know? Got the Discord, yay, I'm glad I fixed it. The rest is cool, but the funny rat man, exactly, I love the funny rats. The autosave 2 hits before my death, and last save was 2 hours ago. No. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's so rough. You can do it, though. I believe in you. I believe in you. You'll escape. You'll escape, I believe. You'll escape, I believe. I believe. I live in Spain without the S. No! Curse of exploding moon be upon ye. No! Oh, man. Vermin Lady vs. Mochi on a Total Warhammer 3 multiplayer. That would be so fun. I want to. You may be interested to learn that Terraria update today added transformations to this core piece of equipment, kind of like mounts. One was turned into a rat! I did hear about that, like vaguely. I did vaguely hear about it, but I didn't know what it meant. That's so good. Thank you for follows, welcome. Kick Mochi high in the sky. Sometimes sacrifices must be made. And sometimes the sacrifice is Mochi. Sometimes the sacrifice is Mochi. It's fine though. It's fine. If it wasn't Mochi, the sacrifice would be me, so I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do what I gotta do, you know? Imagine playing paintball without the letter T. Paintball. To me, that's most sports. Do not the Mochi. Warham. Is there a pig-based race in Warhammer? Like a hog race or something like that? Because I feel like if not, there's a missing opportunity for the Warhams. There's a missing opportunity for Warhams. Yes, me. Orcs ride hogs? Oh, that's fun. Is Mochi the sacrifice most of the time? How's that different than usual? Yeah, true. Some orcs ride boars. Orcs ride hogs. Ogres is the closest you can get. Okay, that's fun. I'll take it. I'll take it. Those are the Warhams. Those are the Warhams. Those shall be the Warhams. Those shall be the Warhams. Okay, was there anything else that I needed to talk about? You really are hydrating every 2 minutes, huh? Every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, I take 1 sip. I have a timer. See, and the worst part is, I know you can afford it points-wise. I know points-wise this is not going to be a problem. I do believe I could get into Warhammer stuff as I found one for the PSP. Not sure if I should, you know? I think if you have it, it's worth trying. I think it's worth trying if it's something you're interested in. I think if it's something you're interested in, it's always worth a try. So I need to take over because I need to build up for a money time. Straight up hydration maxing it. Take up the hydrate. And thank you for the follow, welcome. My alert's broken. I'm realizing my alerts don't seem to be alerting. My alerts do not seem to be alerting. Let me hit the refresh on them. Hopefully they'll start fixing now. Drowning streamer very slowly. Very slowly. Pipe bomb! Pipe bomb! We hear the bubble noises just fine? Yeah, but that's a different one. Those are through Mix It Up. But the follow alerts, which go through stream elements, aren't popping up. So I need to figure out how to fix that. And the raid alerts didn't come through either. I'm realizing I'm only seeing them on my sidebar. It's not too much of an issue, because I can read the alerts history, like, manually, but I do like to have a sound that tells me, you know? I like to have a sound that tells me. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? 07 stream elements. 07. 07s. 07 stream elements. Alright, let's see. I think now would be a good time to start the videos. So, let's head over to the other screen. I'm gonna try, you know, I might have at least have a look, you know? Yeah, exactly! If you're gonna be hooked up loving only you and nobody else. Exactly, it's a train. It's a train of suffering. It's a train of suffering. This is how the peer pressure works. Let's go over to the screen. You add a sign to the arcade Days Without Scuff 0. That's fun. I like that. I do need to make a list for reasons. For something. Don't worry about it. Anyway. Whee! Here we are. So, by many, many requests, I have been told to check out Pancreas No Works videos on Skaven. And actually, good timing, there was a new one that, like, basically just came out, I think. So we're gonna be starting with this older one, which is Skaven Great Clans, The Many Kinds of Rat, which came out in June. And then we'll watch a more recent one. Think of the hydrate. Yeah, we're gonna start off today by learning about the Skaven, because I keep playing them, and I realistically don't know much about their lore, you know? And I feel like that would be good to know, considering I've dedicated how many hours to playing them now? Like, what? Like 5, 6+ hour streams? Like, a lot of time. I've spent a lot of time playing as Skaven now, and I still know nothing about them. So, we're gonna learn today. So this one is about the different clans. Oh yeah, I need to move them. Let me move the boys. I am gonna be full screening, but I will still move the boys regardless. Where can I put them? Prophet can go Ratatouille style. And Kevin, where do you want to go? Kevin can lurk. Kevin can lurk back there. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you for the 4 months, Charlie. Thank you. Thank you for the 4 months. Let's go. Thank you. Hope you feel better soon, Rat Queen. Stay relaxed. I will. I appreciate it. Thank you. See, the alerts aren't working. Why are they broken? I'm just gonna have to remember to look at it and read it. We mecha anime now? Exactly. Skaven lore is basically them all stabbing each other in their backs when the opportunity shows up. Amazing. That's what I like to see. Squeak, 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 squeak. Ratception. We're doing Ratception today. Skaven best race, yes, exactly. We're learning about them, for real. We're gonna learn about them for real this time. Okay, we are gonna full screen. But I did add this time sort of a little, like, I'm adding a little kind of bar down here that'll have the video title and the channel name anyway. So even if it's not on the screen, you will know, you know, you'll be able to see the whole time whose video it is. I feel like that's a better way to do it. It looks cleaner on the screen and all that. It just looks nicer on the screen, and it's easier to read, I think. You know, it looks nicer, it's clean, it's right there. Yeah. Okay. The Lawbeard stream on Quick Head Taker made me read his novel. Are there Skaven novels? We need a model to make an Arisa Skaven clan. Now that would be so peak. That would be so good. That'd be so good. Hell yeah. They're off of Thanquol. Hell yeah. Pancreas No Work has a video on Thanquol's story. Thanquol's the best Skaven character. Ooh, okay. Okay, this is good. They call it the production value. They do. That's what they call me. Machine Gun Rats incoming. Hell yeah. Invincible, thank you for the 3 months. Thank you. Okay, now the alerts are working. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanquol should have been in Total War 3, but never made it in. Aw, man. That's a shame. I would love to see more Skaven, because they're just fun. I haven't even played all the ones that exist yet. But they're fun to me. I hope you're feeling better. I am. I'm definitely feeling a little bit better. There's a fair amount of Skaven novels, hell yeah! I think it was a trilogy of novels. Queek has one, there's a trilogy on the Black Plague, and there's Skaven Slayer, but they appear in many others. Awesome. I need to look into some Warhammer books. I feel like they'd be fun to read. It'd be fun. He's almost 100% coming in. Oh, yeah, there's a new DLC, isn't there? There's a new one. Thank you for the subscribe. Welcome, welcome. Okay. I think... Okay, let's mute that. Mute the music. Yippee! Thank you for the subscribe. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so, now, we will be watching, Skaven Great Clans, The Many Kinds of Rat by Pancreas No Work. Because I like the funny rats, and I need to know what their deal is, in detail.
Warhammer has a lot of rats. There's plenty of normal rats to go around in any of the settings, because be it the 41st millennium or the magical mortal realms, these little critters are hard to get rid of. It's so far only Alberta that has managed to remain free of them in real life. In 40k, there's ratlings, which are granted actually hobbits, but rats in the name and they're little fellas, so they still kinda count.
That's a person.
Course, there's the Skaven, the premier ratman of Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar, and one of the more unique things GW has ever created. God bless the people that decided to give rats machine guns, because that's very fun. But even these despicable morons have to have some form of organization. Their main idea for things may be throwing rats at a problem until it's solved, but they have to all have some vague agreement that a certain thing is a problem to do that. Thus we come to the various clans of Skavendom. A few of them are different flavors of mad scientists, wielding either technology beyond the realm of sanity or creating the most horrific abominations that would make Frankenstein look tame. Others are sneaky ninjas, darting in and out of the shadows to achieve what they want. And more still subscribe to the time-tested method of outnumbering the enemy 100 to 1 and drowning them with pure weight of rats more than anything else.
See, I will say, currently, I think the ninja ones are the ones that intrigue me the least. You know, the like assassin subtype. I feel like those are the ones that interest me the least because, you know, when they're up against rats with machine guns and body horror situations, I feel like they're just not as fun. But, you know, maybe this will change that for me. I don't know. But they are very silly, so, you know, they are still fun, silly little rats, so I still enjoy them. But, you know, they're just not as interesting yet. Maybe this will change that, but they're just, you know, they haven't won me over yet.
Clans of Skavendom are beautiful to behold in the way only absolutely horrid things can be, so let's take a look at the different clans of them you can expect to find in the Warhammer world. But before we start, a quick shout out to Minimaker, this video's sponsor. What's Minimaker make?
I like
They make minis, dude. It's in the name. 3D printed minis for playing tabletop RPGs or war games with that you could drop off the table and they'll be fine. Minis for displaying nice and pretty on your shelf. Minis that are on a budget but still look phenomenal. They've got a quality option for each of those choices, and you have plenty of options of minis to purchase. Just as good as their quality is how they get it to you. All of it's made to order, which means there's no need to worry about either a mini being out of stock or a scalper buying all the stock and then hoarding it like a dragon. You will get what you want, and it'll ship worldwide within 2 to 10 business days. I have waited longer for medical supplies than I did for the minis they sent me. That is not a joke. That is how good their shipping is. And if you have any questions or suggestions, you can reach out to them no problem and tell them what's on your mind. Is something missing from the store? They'll add it as a mini. You can make suggestions for minis to be added, and they will add them. If that isn't grade A customer service, I don't know what is. To get in on these phenomenal minis, it's nice and easy. Go to minimaker.com and start shopping. If you buy enough minis, you can even get points to buy more minis with. And if you use code Pancreas at checkout, you get yourself a 10% discount. Head on over to minimaker.com now, use code Pancreas, and get yourself some phenomenal minis today. Now then, time to invest in rat poison. To start off, I should say that there are untold thousands of Skaven clans even before we get to Age of Sigmar, where their numbers started reaching the singularity. Some of them are truly massive, numbering in the hundreds of thousands of rats. Others are just a few isolated vermin with maybe a single good thing going for them. Most of them, however, take influence from one of the great clans, which is what we'll be talking about today. It's not a hard-set rule that the Skaven clans are all copies of a greater one. There's one clan, Clan Rictus, that has its claim to fame in the form of tolls they force on anyone entering or leaving the Darklands. Another, Clan Scurvy, are exactly what you think they are, pirate rats. There are as many things for a Skaven clan to be about as there are Skaven clans out there, because while the rats love to steal things from everyone else, they also get up to plenty of wacky nonsense when left to their own devices. resources. But the great clans, as you can expect from the name, have such massive amounts of influence that their cultures and more leak into the rest of Skavendom. So for the sake of simplicity, we'll focus today on those great clans, as well as one other particular highlight. Starting us off, we have...
YIPEEEEE!
Welcome to Rat Raytheon, young engineering major. Say goodbye to your moral code and say hello to making new and exciting ways to detonate dwarfs. Fair's fair, though. The words Skaven and moral code were never together to begin with. Clan Scryer is the wealthiest Skaven clan out of all of them, and one of the 4 reigning great clans. Their power lays in both the realm of mundane technology as well as arcane might, and given how prevalent warpstone is in Skaven society, those things frequently overlap. To give you an idea as to how prolific they are, pretty much every Skaven weapon out there was created by these guys. Rattling guns, Jezzails, mortars, warp fire throwers, doom wheels that run down the enemy, artillery cannons that can destroy the moon. If it's anything more than a...
That can what? They can't. I thought when people came into my chat and said the destroying the moon thing, that was just like kind of a hyperbolic bit. They actually can just destroy the moon. They blew up the moon. They nuked the moon. God, I love them so much. God, I love them. They're so peak. Destroying the moon is the end goal. They really just destroyed the moon. They did destroy the moon. They just wanted to blow up the moon, so they blew up the moon. They were so mad Gorik wouldn't die, they dropped a moon on him. This is the greatest news. Thank you for the super. Ika made a giant gun to blow up the moon. This is incredible. This is fantastic news. Thank you so much, Josh, for the 5. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super. Typical rat behavior. Sometimes you just want to blow up the moon. Understandable reaction. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Listen, it's too hot right now. It's too hot. I'm melting. The weather is disgusting. If I want to mess up the tides so bad that the world floods so that I'm cooled down for a millisecond by a crashing tidal wave, the moon is gonna be the fastest way to do it, I think. I think that would be so nice. I just think that'd be so nice. I just think that'd be great. Hello, Rat Oshi. Hi, welcome.
A rusty spear, it probably came from a scryer workshop. Don't take that to mean that Clan Scryer only makes weapons, though, because there's plenty of non-violent things they make as well, as much as a shocker as it may sound for a Skaven to make non-lethal creations. The warp lights that allow the rats to see in their tunnels are another invention of theirs, as is the warp rail that connects the entire Under Empire. That's right, the Skaven have subways. It was Clan Scryer digging machines that excavated those rail networks as well. Clan Scryer is so powerful and rich because they make the things the lore doesn't focus on, those little things that you logically know need to exist, but they're boring, so they aren't really talked about. Their influence runs deep because of how widespread their stuff is, and though no Skaven clan has ever quite taken down all the others, Clan Scryer's in a position to cause perhaps the most damage if they went rogue, only matched by one other. Really, they could just stop selling stuff to everyone. The only people that might have the power to force them are the Grey Seers, given that they're the mouth of the Horned Rat and all that. Everyone else has to pay top dollar for Scryer weaponry, because for all that it is still Skaven equipment and therefore prone to exploding, Scryer does good work. Would you rather be a Skaven clan with access to rattling guns, or one banned from ever touching one of the things? That's how Scryer stays in business. I was tempted to say that Clan Scryer is one of the more dangerous Skaven clans to be a part of, but then I thought about it, and that's an almost meaningless statement. All Skaven clans churn through rats like popcorn. That doesn't mean anything to say one is particularly dangerous. Instead, here's their specific way of getting themselves killed. Because Clan Scryer is all about engineering projects, they naturally spend a lot of time researching. Now, even in the real world, sometimes things go wrong. Just look at the Demon Core. A slip of a screwdriver, and everyone in that room became a dead man walking. Clan Scryer is that, but not only do the rats not care if you blow up, sometimes you blowing up is either the point or a happy accident they're going to put more research into.
Why would they give me a nuke button if I wasn't meant to use it? Consider that. Consider if they give me a big ol' nuke button and a factory to make more, I'm gonna hit the nuke button wherever it is most efficient.
And safety protocols do not exist, for such things are not the Skaven way. Clan Scryer's research, even for the most mundane of things, involves a body count of the dozens, if not hundreds, and for some of this stuff, it's absolutely reaching the thousands. I would guarantee you that Ratling guns were tested on thousands of Skaven slaves before they were ever deployed to the field. And Skaven engineering being what it is, even the non-weapon things they create are probably rickety pieces of garbage that only work just well enough to be sellable to other rats. The life of a warlock engineer and his acolytes are one fraught with peril, not even from other rats necessarily, but from their own deranged experiments. Other rats will, of course, also try to kill them the moment they look like their research is going to succeed, though. Why do all that troublesome research yourself when you can kill the guy who did, copy his notes roughly accurately, and take credit? But all of this is irrelevant. If a warplock engineer can make one moderately successful project, be it a weapon or something like those warp lights to assist the Skaven in day-to-day life with, he will be rich beyond his beliefs as he milks it for everything it's worth. More importantly for the whole, Clan Scryer will be able to profit from his inventions as they sell it to the rest of the Under Empire. 10,000 dead slaves and a few dozen dead warlocks is nothing compared to the amount of warp tokens that can be raked in as a result of a new invention, and every warlock wants to be the one to invent it and take credit for it, more importantly. And Scryer technology, for how unreliable it is genuinely more advanced than anyone else's. The dwarfs will occasionally use oil in some projects like their gyrocopters and the Spirit of Grungni, and they do have some trains. The Skaven, meanwhile, have invented Skype, underground rail networks, and energy weapons.
Skype? Skype? Skype. Skaven's just hyper-capitalist? I think so, and I respect that. The far squeak? Is that a thing? Oh my god, this is fantastic. This is fantastic news. They can voice call each other. Oh my god, they invented Skype. Oh, they're so great. Oh, I love them. I love them so much. That's the far squeaker, which is like a Skaven cell phone. This is the best news. This is the best news. Become the first warp-based streamer. That would be fantastic. This is great. They called 40k with it one time. So it's not only Skype, it's also a time machine, but only verbally. Every time I hear Warhammer, I imagine it's just war with hamsters. Warhamster. Amazing. Amazing. Arisa is a warpstone. Yes, 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 yes.
Even from their point of view, Scryer tech can be unreliable, but that's where the difference between people and Skaven comes in. A human army outfitting their soldiers with weapons that have a 1/3 chance of exploding would be seen as cruel and evil, as well as just wasteful. To the Skaven, who cares if they explode? As long as Scryer stuff kills at least a few enemies before it takes out your gunners, and it's almost certainly reliable enough to do at least that, it did the job it needed to. Of course, the likelihood of something going wrong tends to scale with how grand a piece of tech it is, but that just means you have to be farther away from it when it's deployed. And really, did you want to be next to the Warpstone nuclear bomb when it went off anyways? Clan Scryer is in fantasy ruled by Morse Guitar. There's not much known about this rad, but as a member of the Council of 13, you can safely assume he's incredibly smart, dangerous, and cunning. In fact, he's over 400 years old and once was able to declare himself the Emperor of Skavenblight during their second civil war. Scryer technology may be the only thing keeping him around, but at the end of the day, it is keeping him around, proving his capability as an engineer. And by virtue of being a Skaven 400 years old, you can assume he knows how to handle any upstart underling acolytes that might try and take credit from him, or as it were, keep him from taking their credit. For one last thing, I would theorize that Clan Scryer interacts with non-Skaven non-violently more often than most other clans do, because the thing about Skaven research and development is that it as often as not, it involves stealing stuff from the other races. If they can get their hands on a dwarf cannon, they don't have to go through the rigmarole of designing a whole cannon. They just have to jam it full of warpstone and see what happens when they fire it. So it benefits them to be, if not sneaky, then much more directed with their assaults. Non-violently interacting is definitely not the best way to put it, but essentially they aren't attacking you because it's part of a glorious scheme to bring about Skavendom's rise to power. Not just because of that anyways. They probably just want your stuff and are more than happy to kill you to get to it.
I love stuff.
The other
Clan
mad
Mulder.
scientist clan, this one being for the Frankenstein fellows. An
Hell
ancient
yeah.
clan, their origins date back as far as negative 1450 in the imperial calendar, when one of the surviving Skaven, after they accidentally blew up most of the Under Empire, marched northwards and founded the city of Hellpit. With the area being right on the border of Norska, and therefore close to the Chaos Wastes, all sorts of lovely abominations can already be found here. The forebears of Clan Mulder took one look at all these monsters and thought to themselves, how can we make them even worse? The
Hell
capital
yeah.
of Hellpit is rich with warpstone as well, further allowing them to do their grisly work. Clan Mulder has sure enough become a great clan by virtue of how many different kinds of beasties they create in their lab to sell. Their packmasters will scoop up any suitably interesting creature they find and take it back to a Master Mulder's lair to experiment on. And
The
experiment is only
creature-grabbing
the word
creature.
I'm using because I can't really think of a better one. Torture is a good way to describe it, in all honesty. They'll just poke and prod in a creature's insides, adding and removing bits to see what happens, and then when it almost inevitably dies, they'll round up another one and start over again. This is one of the more horrific of Skaven clans because of their focus on biological experiments. When Clan Scryer experiments with a new piece of tech, the danger is that it'll blow up in their face. When Clan Mulder has a new formula for warp steroids to test, they're kidnapping animals and people to experiment on with. Though any clans can do it, Clan Mulder is one that especially likes to go up and kidnap entire villages Dark Eldar style. One second everyone is going about their day, the next the village is a ghost town. The buildings are untouched, food can still be found half-eaten on plates, but all the people are gone, spirited away to Hellpit to be turned into something horrific.
I just needed to build my horse. If I need to build a horse out of people, then it has to happen. This is what Arisa made our mods into. This is what I'm gonna do to my mods. I'm gonna make one mega mod. I'm gonna make one supreme mod by just fusing everyone together. Arisa looks like a Clan Mulder creation. That's the dream. That's the dream. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you. Thank you for the 10. Thank you. I appreciate it. Human centipede? No. More like human horse. I think I would really like to make a rat horse. I think that'd be great. What name would you give the horse? I have to think about that. I think I have to think about that. It's gotta be a good one, you know? It's gotta be a good one. Moddy. Okay, Moddy's pretty good. That's pretty good. Winston's also pretty good. Winston's also pretty good. One mod to rule a ball. Exactly. Exactly. If you're gonna build a horse out of people, you gotta need some people. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I love. Is it concerning that the whole time he was talking about, you know, the body horror and the science experiments, I was smiling? Is that a concern? Mantor. Mantor's pretty good. Moderately? Yeah. Totally normal. They're just so neat. They're just so neat. I love my freaky little rats. I love them. They're so silly. No more than the rest of us. Fantastic. Not in this universe. Exactly.
The pit itself is layered like a cake, or more accurately, layered like hell in Dante's Inferno. 9 different levels of atrocities await anyone coming to this place, naturally getting worse and worse as you go down further. Just to get in, there's a river of lava you have to pass, guarded by a rat guardian who glows bright green with warpstone. After
Hell
that,
yeah.
you start running into all sorts of nasties created by the smartest of master molders. To be quite frank, if you're here, you're either going to become one of those nasties or become food for one of those nasties, though if you're real unlucky, you might get molded into the walls of Hellpit. They can do that apparently, and yes, you are still alive and in agony when it happens. For what practical purpose this serves, I don't know, because Skaven aren't
fun.
like the Dark Eldar in that they get physical and spiritual nourishment from suffering like that. I think they genuinely just like doing that to people. All of this is supported by Clan Mulder selling their creations to other races. Everyone
They
wants
just
a
wanna.
kaiju on their side in a
They
war,
just wanna
and
do
Clan
it.
Mulder is making, if not Godzilla, gorilla, then at least a decent approximation of him, with a ratty theme for flavor. The least impressive thing they export are just hungry rat swarms, likely slightly mutated at least by warpstone exposure and general experimentation. Though most Skaven can't actually control rats, some older packmasters can, and will send them scurrying towards the enemies of Skavendom for an appropriate price.
I don't know which one I would be, but
obvious in their value. Rat ogres are aptly named and can tear apart the enemies of the Skaven, as well as other Skaven, and Clan Moulder charges a high price because of this. They know everyone wants one. Hellpit abominations are the cream of the crop, costing the highest price but also being one of the most powerful weapons a Skaven warlord could hope to command. If you'll excuse some more theory crafting, I would have to assume that part of Clan Moulder's marketability is that once you buy a creature, it's pretty low maintenance. Just throw it in a big enough cage or hole and feed it some Skaven slaves every now and again. Easy peasy. Whoever has to let it out when it's time for war is also probably getting eaten, but such is the life of the humble clan rat. Clan Moulder is also perfectly happy to do custom jobs if you ask them politely and bribe them enough. Master Moulders are nothing if not artistic with the liberties they take when experimenting on living creatures. Maybe you want your monsters to be especially armored. Thicker skin and metal can be bolted onto it for just a measly few dozen more extra warp tokens. Maybe you want your monsters to also have guns. Well, that's gonna run you the big bucks since that was a clan scry or collaboration project, but Stormfeeds are wanted perhaps more than even rat ogres, so that can be done too. But maybe you're also a free-spirited rat and want your Clan Moulder contact to do whatever he wants and show you the result. He's gonna happily march back to his workshop, spin a wheel a few times, and add whatever it lands on to his monstrous creation. You're either gonna get upcharged to high hell because he'll lie to you about the work that went in, or you may get a special discount for letting an aspiring artist work on his magnum opus. Either way, it's guaranteed to be horrific, and it'll probably be lethal to at least the first person you sick it on. The Skaven of Clan Moulder themselves are an odd bunch, especially mutated by Chaos Waste energy as well as constant warpstone exposure, even by Skaven standards. Rampant hunger, extra limbs, and more are not uncommon to see, and sometimes the line between Clan Moulder mutant and Clan Moulder creation is functionally irrelevant. Throt the Unclean has 3 arms, warpstone jammed in his eye, and in his own words, endless hunger. The Packlord of Moulder's Verminkin, who sits on the Council of 13, is technically 2 rats sharing one lumpy, misshapen, mutated body. They frequently argue with each other and would no doubt try to kill each other if it weren't for the fact that aside from the 2 different heads, they've all got the same organs. Fratricide is a lot harder to pull off when it's also suicide. One last thing of note is that Clan Moulder is the best place to be a physically frail Skaven. If you have brains, they'll support your endeavors, not because they actually care about you, but because a smart, if physically weak, Master Moulder can still create profitable monsters. To be absolutely clear, this is not charity. If you can't immediately prove you're smart enough or capable enough in some way to make up for being a runt, you are now food for someone's monsters. But if you can quickly prove your brain is worth the lack of brawn, they'll probably keep you around.
You just gotta get creative. Okay, if you had to pick, what's your choice? You know, what? Here's POV. I am in charge. POV, I am in charge. I am going to feed you to my monster. You have to pitch to me. It's sort of like a Project Runway situation. You gotta show me your perfect creation. You gotta show me your perfect creation. You know, what's your Skaven of choice? What bits are you mashing together to prove to me that you're not monster food? What are you creating? But what if you put this funny glowing rock in it? Well, that's a given. 2 rats in a trench coat, but the 1 brain cell. Exactly. Rat ogre that turns invisible. That's fun. Rat ogre covered in chainsaws. Now we're talking. Rat ogre cannon. Yes. Hellpit abomination, but rattling guns instead of hands. See, now we're getting it. This is what we want. I'm showing you a rat ogre with musical instruments on every arm. See, less good for combat, great as a court jester. Someone will want that. 1 visible rat ogre to show you and 1 invisible rat ogre to eat you while you're distracted. No, you're disqualified. You're meant to eat me. You're not meant to eat me. Rat goth waifus. Now we're sort of pulling in a different direction. This is sort of coming a different circle. Help an abomination with wizards fused into it. Hear me out. What if Help an abomination with a wizard fused into it, but the wizard is also a hell-pit abomination. 2 rat ogres in a trench coat. Exactly. They have to share. They have to share. I'm not here to make clothes. I'm here to make creatures. We've only got so many trench coats. We're selling products, not weapons. Yeah, we can get creative. We can get creative with it. Right with a giant ear on its back for eavesdropping. This is great. This is great. This is great. Must recommend the most strong, powerful Skaven weapon. Short for joke. Short for this joke. Wait, I can't read. The most strong, powerful Skaven weapon. Short. Oh, like a short to watch. Okay. I see, I see. Chainsaw that shoots nukes attached to a dragon fused with a rat. Fantastic. Rat ogre with wizard hats. Oh, with wizard hands. Wait, so where their hands are torso and up of a wizard. This is great. A doom wheel that can jump because it also has legs. This is great. We're really cooking with ideas here. We're really cooking with ideas. This is what matters. We know what's up. We know what's up.
Master Splinter hasn't been the same since he took a trip to the Chaos Wastes and started smoking crack. Clan Eshin is the stealthy branch of the Skaven Under Empire, specializing in everything from hit-and-run tactics and war to high-stakes espionage and assassination. Calling any one Skaven clan the most feared is tricky because they can all do horrid things to you when crossed, but the threat of a Clan Eshin assassination is something that always hangs over any properly paranoid Skaven warlord's head. Founded by Lord Visktrin, who never got to see the heights his clan would reach on account of running into a dragon, Clan Eshin's forebears traveled far to the east to Cathay and Nippon. There, for reasons that I simply cannot fathom, some of them decided it was a good idea to teach these mangy, rabid, evil rats how to be ninja assassins. There was even lore that at one point a Clan Eshin member was an advisor to Cathay. The Dragon Emperor must have been on a bender when that was allowed. For a while they were thought lost to Skaven kind, but after a few hundred years they slunk back into Skaven blight, set up a den, and became the chief spies and assassins of Skavendom. Clan Eshin, much like the rest of the Skaven, have 2 modes, but they're particularly pronounced with these guys. They have comedy mode and utter horror mode. For the former, where else but Gotrek and Felix displays it the best. When some Clan Eshin gutter runners tried to assassinate Gotrek and Felix, they barely made it to Gotrek. And this was in the early books, so it was before Felix was properly terrifying in his own way. Even in spite of that, the entire assassination attempt reads like a Three Stooges bit. Rats tripped over each other, tripped over furniture, tripped over Felix, tripped onto their weapons. The entire event probably only took about 20 seconds, and by the end of it, almost all of the rats were dead. Their leader escaped only to later be obliterated by Thanquol for the crime of being vaguely annoying to Thanquol. On the other hand, enter Deathmaster Snitch.
Amazing.
Deathmaster Snitch is like a rat version of the alien from Alien. He wields 3 swords of warpstone to super kill enemies dead. He can supposedly teleport using shadows and come out of them at will. He supposedly once assassinated an Empire official, yet the guy's door was locked the whole time and that was the only entrance, so how the hell did he get in? He supposedly can be anywhere at any time and you'll never know. All of this supposedly talk is intentionally cultivated by Clan Eshin's higher-ups because it adds to his terrifying reputation. Clan Eshin assassins completely unrelated to Snitch will carve his mark on the bodies of their targets just to further his legend. Presumably they don't complain about this because they're worried Snitch might pay them a visit for trying to rise above their station. For all that they are assassins, they do still have units to play as large groups on tabletop. Night Runners are skirmishers that have been given the barest amount of stealth training and taught how to throw shurikens and pointy rocks at people. This training, mind you, includes stealing money from blind homeless people, and it has been noted that sometimes these homeless are apparently not only not blind, but proficient in martial arts. Clan Eshin is either rampantly incompetent on most levels, or exclusively trains against out-of-work D&D adventurers. Feel free to assume whichever is funnier to you is true. Gutter Runners, meanwhile, are when a Clan Eshin rat can just about grasp concepts like actually sneaking, and are therefore much more dangerous. They can be armed with more than just weapons. Poison is a common thing for them to carry, as well as nets to trip enemies up on the battlefield or in their rooms to make the kill all the easier. And of course, a full-blown Eshin assassin is where the jump from goofy rat person to Michael Myers if he was a rat occurs. In day-to-day life, Clan Eshin deals in information gathering as much as killing people. Information is a valuable commodity, especially in the treachery-ridden Skaven world, and Clan Eshin will sell out their services to spy on rival Skaven warlords to anyone anyone who can meet their price. Of course, they also may be on the payroll of the guy you're trying to spy on, so caution is always warranted. The Council of 13 makes frequent usage of Eshin services, spying on those near and far for their interests. Their den in Skavenblight is a fairly humble thing, but no one knows what goes on inside of it. Any Skaven that wanders too close tends to disappear, and you can assume all sorts of Home Alone-style traps with a lot more lethality in mind absolutely litter the place.
See, I know I said before that I didn't particularly care about them, about Clan Eshin. I am won over significantly more purely by the fact that they're bad at their job. Like, that's all it took. I am immediately more intrigued. Like, rat assassins, okay. Rat assassins who suck at everything, peak. Fantastic. That's what I love to see. That's what I want. That's what I want. It's better that they suck at it. That's so much funnier. That's so much funnier. Love you in the back while doing Kaizo, the amount of laughing while hearing horror stuff is sending me. Am I a little bit evil, maybe? Maybe I'm a little bit evil. Just a little. In my defense, it's a little funny. I love that they're bad at it. They're so whimsical if you're not the one being murdered. Exactly. Have you at Home Alone traps? Exactly. Exactly. They're great. I love them. Incompetent rat ninjas, but somehow still get the job done. Yeah. The fact that they kill people by stumbling over themselves and the target just ends up dead, that's great. That's fantastic. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. We're all a little evil when it's funny. Exactly. Exactly. Ninja rats are funny. Bad ninja rats are hilarious. That's what I'm saying. They're so much funnier when they suck at it. The good Eshin rats are really good, but the lower guys are still held back by being Skaven. Exactly. And I love that. I love that. Also, thank you for the check-ins. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for the follows. Welcome, welcome. The Monty Python clan. This is fantastic. I love this. The ones who can pull off stealth are cool too. Yeah, I'm excited to learn about the ones who are like good at it. The dumbest stat is luck, but they misheard and dumped all their points into luck. Amazing. Thank you for the hydrate. Okay, back in we go.
They appear incredibly unified by Skaven standards, but that might just be because we rarely see the inner machinations of the clan. When a Clan Eshin character makes an appearance in a book, they're just as cowardly as other Skaven, so they'll certainly still sell out their fellows to save their own skin. It might just be we don't see the dissent and infighting common in other Skaven clans because they hide it very well. It's a lot harder to be horror movie villains when everyone knows your group is just as full of bumbling morons as theirs is. Clan Eshin overall is a fairly mysterious clan with only so much to be discussed, but I want to make it clear that they are to the rest of the Skaven an utterly terrifying force. When the Second Skaven Civil War broke out, they were able to not only remain neutral in the conflict as a whole, but hired themselves out to all sides and make a profit without getting retaliated on en masse. In the first book of Thanquil's Omnibus, he regarded the local ruler of Clan Eshin and Under Altdorf as the greatest single threat he had to face, at least in terms of combatants. That is how terrifying the Skaven of Clan Eshin are to the rest of the Under Empire. And though it was end times nonsense, it was Deathmaster Snikt who snuck into Thorgrim's escape chamber and killed him because he left the door open. They really can be anywhere, and you may only know you've been targeted by Eshin when an assassin comes to snuff out your life. Oh, and they also really love poison. There's a rat named Ricketic that's compiled a way to kill almost everything in the Warhammer world, mostly with poison. Funny thing is, he sat down with some Imperial scholar and casually told him all about his knowledge. I don't think he even killed the guy afterwards. He just really loved talking about his craft, and his craft happened to be poisoning people. That's oddly sweet, isn't it? At least by Skaven standards.
Yeah. Clan Pestilence.
This is the other Skaven clan that provokes a sense of fear in Skaven outside
He just loves his
of it.
job.
However, where Clan Eshin does it by having the potential to jump scare you at any given moment, the fear of Clan Pestilence comes from two distinct sources. One is their defining feature, that being their diseases, but the other is something I bet you didn't expect to hear shouted outside of 40k or maybe by witch hunters. heresy. The most obvious trait about Clan Pestilence is their disease-ridden everything. The origins of the clan come during a period of expansion and migration. Their forebearers,
right now,
whose original clan name is lost to time, ventured under the oceans themselves for generations. This was generations in Skaven terms granted, so like a couple of decades, but that's still a pretty decent amount of time. When they finally arrived at their destination, they realized across the ocean lay the land of Lustria. Lustria, the home of the Lizardmen, is not exactly receptive to outside guests. The land itself is a murderous jungle, like Catacan and 40k, if the whole thing was also magical. Plus, the Lizardmen are Space Marine-sized lizard people that can and will rip you apart for showing up. They lucked out on avoiding the Lizardmen, but when they arrived at the ruined city of Ketsa, the local disease ravaged the clan. At a certain point, barely 100 of them remained, and from here the lore diverges into what I personally call the Fun Skaven route and the GW Hard-On for Chaos route. In the Fun Skaven route, they began worshipping the diseases that ravaged them. If these diseases were ravaging them so, it must be the Horned Rat's will, and so they would instead embrace this disease as the true aspect of their deity, that of a filthy, disease-ridden carrier of destruction. In the Hard-On for Chaos route, there was a great unclean one under the city they started worshipping as an aspect of the Horned Rat. Same end result, but one is more Skaven insanity and an alternative to Nurgle if you like diseases, whereas the other is more of chaos actually being the origin the whole time. Regardless, their numbers grew, they cultivated quite the knowledge of disease, and after a while they returned back to the old world and Skavendom proper. When they showed back up, they immediately demanded things like territory and breeding rights because Skaven are awful, massive amounts of Warpstone as tribute because Skaven are greedy, and a seat on the Council of 13 because you might as well shoot for the moon. Predictably, everyone told Clan Pestilence to piss off. Rather less predictably for the Skaven, Pestilence responded with biological warfare and swarming them with plague monks. Initially, it was expected that Clan Pestilence could be swiftly dealt with via the old reliable method of Rattling gun spam. Then the disease got worse. Then Clan Pestilence obliterated an entire clan in the Southlands. Then hundreds of clans switched over to Pestilence's side. Of course, this is still a Skaven civil war. Much like their engineering, things will go wrong at any possible chance, and in this case it occurred when Clan Eshin had nearly every clan warlord of those that sided with Pestilence assassinated. With this rather upsetting turn of events, Pestilence pleaded for a meeting. It was granted, and the Lord of Pestilence, Plague Lord Nurglich, even managed to actually reach the Council of 13 through the swarm of assassins they sent his way. He was allowed to challenge for a seat on the council, and when he threw the weakest council member off the top of a tower, Clan Pestilence was allowed a seat and became one of the great clans. They would go on to be responsible for the near destruction of both the Empire and Bretonnia through the Black Plague and Red Pox respectively, though both examples eventually also burned through the Skaven ranks at the height of their campaigning and eventually resulted in a second Skaven civil war. This one was resolved with the Horned Rat personally coming in to make sure everyone almost started behaving, but Pestilence kept their status and power they had gained up to this point. Yes, by the way, you heard that right. The Black Death in Warhammer Fantasy was caused by rats. Just so happened to be on purpose this time around. Clan Pestilence is perhaps the Skaven clan least concerned with personal glory. Oh, to be sure, they will take credit for themselves, but at least amongst characters like Lord Skrulk, they'll try and do things for the glory of Clan Pestilence and themselves. To them, the Horned Rat is especially worshipped, as he is their sickly master who will bring ruin to all those who deny his plagued gifts. Working somewhat together will bring the ascension of not only him, of course, but Clan Pestilence as well. This is where the second part of fear against them comes in. Most Skaven view this as a highly heretical stance to take, breaking tradition with how the Horned Rat truly is to be viewed. The problem is Clan Pestilence is, if nothing else, powerful enough to keep themselves around after two massive civil wars, so one way or another, calling them heretics in the street and trying to kill them will just result in that Skaven's death. The other more obvious thing is that they're so disgustingly filthy and disease-ridden that standing near them can cause you to melt into sludge. Non-pestilent Skaven are no safer from this than other races, so it's also for practical purpose that this clan is kept at an arm's reach. Clan Pestilence will occasionally try and cook up some super plague to infect the world with, such as with the Red Pox or Black Death. They tried it in Nuln, but that was during a Gotrek Felix novel, so you can guess how that panned out for them. When it's time to come out in force, however, they rush down their enemy with countless infected rats that are actually bolstered by their diseases, and the rabid fervor of Clan Pestilence means that they'll run away far later than most other Skaven would. In the end times, this is how they took down the Lizardmen. The magical defenses set up were perfectly tailored to prevent any demon from invading the continent. They were not, however, set up to prevent millions of rats fresh out of Asmongold's basement from invading the land of the lizards. For a final note on them, the obvious connection I brought up pretty quickly. Nurgle. There's a weird relationship between Pestilence and Nurgle, and indeed how much he's involved is up for debate. There is that whole thing about a Great Unclean One essentially creating Clan Pestilence, and for God's sakes, the leader of Clan Pestilence has, to my knowledge, always been called Nurglitch, followed by whatever number of Nurglitch we're on. On the other hand, the Horned Rat has repeatedly entered the mortal world, and Clan Pestilence is still allowed to exist. You might say that maybe Nurgle's too powerful for him to interfere, but Nurgle was at home and the Horned Rat was in their face. I see no reason that he couldn't interfere if that's what he truly wanted to, and get rid of the clan. So instead, here's some ideas for you to think about. Maybe Nurgle did start Pestilence, but as a disgusting asshole rat, the Great Horned Rat sort of adopted them, and now they feed him. Maybe that was never the case, and the Great Horned Rat was always their daddy. Or maybe it's a sort of team project between Nurgle and the Horned Rat. Skaven have worked with others before, and they joined up with Chaos in the End Times to save their own skins. Of course, betrayal is inevitable if that's the case, but that's just more Skaven shenanigans to be had. And whatever the specifics, Clan Pestilence seems to be here to stay. Keep your toilets close by, friends, because diarrhea is sure to follow these rats' footsteps.
Damn. That's how I'm feeling like that's a clan I'm part of right now, you know? I feel like I've got the plague. I feel like I've got the plague. That's how I'm feeling. It's fine. The plague is leaving, though. The plague is leaving. And I'll be back to body horror and guns. I'll be honest, Clan Wars is my favorite just for the novelty of do evil but do it right. I'm excited to see what these guys' deal is. I feel like I know the least about these ones. I feel like they're the ones I know the least about. I feel like they're the ones I know the least about overall. If you're part of them, you wouldn't be suffering. True. True. This is true. Hello, hello. Hi, hi, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm still learning about all of them, mind you, but I feel like I know the least about Clan Moors, so I'm excited to learn what their deal is.
The final Skaven clan we'll talk about is Clan Moors. Now, I'm gonna describe them to you, and the thought might creep into your mind that, holy shit, these are Skaven good guys. False. Incorrect. Remove that notion from your mind. There are no Skaven good guys. Such a thing does not exist. The Skaven of Clan Moors are, however, perhaps the closest thing they've ever come to having something resembling a functioning code of ethics and morals. Best way to put it is about the Skaven as a whole are chaotic evil, Clan Moors is lawful evil. The Skaven of Clan Moors, even those from once rival clans, usually end up praising the leader of Clan Moors quickly, Lord Nodwell. As a member of the Council of 13, it's a safe if wrong assumption to make that Nodwell is using all sorts of tactics, from fear to bribery and coercion, or even magical means to keep the clan so loyal to him.
Thank you for the 3 months of tier 3, Tara. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 3 months of tier 3. Thank you. That's crazy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So structurally evil. Just structurally evil. The noble by Skaven standards. That's funny. I didn't know they had like an ethical variant, you know, Skaven standards, but I didn't know they had like a lawful variant. That's like 9 tiers. That's like 9 whole tiers.
In reality, Clan Moors has discovered something the rest of the Skaven have yet to conceptualize. If you treat your basic clan rats with something almost resembling decency, they will support you over the assholes who throw them into the grinder with a rusty pipe and a command to either fight and maybe die, or run and definitely die. And if you arm them almost halfway acceptably, they can fight better. In Clan Moors, if you can be in any way useful, they will find a use for you, and rewards to fit that use. Only traitorous or truly feeble Skaven will be found as Skaven slaves amongst Clan Moors. Treachery, speaking of, is actually frowned upon. If you stab your superior in the back and ruin a battle plan, you're getting sent to the slave pits. Of course, if your commander is actually incompetent, or you can make him appear incompetent, then by all means see him killed. Clan Moors aren't good guys, remember. There are still plenty of Skaven slaves to be found there. It mostly reminds me of a Skaven version of Spartan-style training in regards to how they view treachery. If you can get away with it, you're probably more cunning than the last guy and deserve the spot. But for the non-Skaven slaves, Clan Moors Moors is downright accommodating. Even the basic clan rats are allowed to live in decent-ish barracks and are given weapons and proper training. This has resulted in several things going for them that have caused Clan Moors to have a rather triumphant rise to power. In-house, Clan Moors quickly gains the loyalty of any Skaven they capture. Those that surrender immediately are allowed to become members of Clan Moors, and when they see the benefits it offers, they're happy to join. Because unwanted treachery is met with severe punishment, most of the Skaven in Clan Moors behave themselves more often than not. Out of house, part of the allure of Clan Moors is that a Skaven can hope for a better life. An actual proper career path of doing your job and being promoted through the ranks is entirely possible. It's worked so well that there's worries amongst the other Council of 13 members that even if they have Nodwell assassinated, Clan Moors will just pop out another Skaven to replace him and things will continue on as normal for Moors. There's also the morale drainer of other Skaven realizing who they're fighting. Because more Skaven are actually trained, they tend to fight far more effectively and for far longer without routing. This has in turn given them some good early victories that give them a reputation as fierce combatants. This in turn makes people afraid of Clan Moors because they have a reputation for being fierce combatants, which is again at least partially earned. So when Clan Moors comes knocking, many lesser clans will outright surrender. This not only bolsters Clan Moors with more Skaven that will soon be trained to Clan Moors standard, but is yet another victory for Clan Moors to wave around and cow other Skaven into submission with. Their greatest feat yet has undoubtedly been their conquest of the lower levels of Carrick 8 Peaks. Known as the City of Pillars to the Skaven, it's become a vital hub of transportation across the Under Empire. Clan Moors controls at least the lower levels and will make any Skaven attempting to cross it or set up shop pay handsomely. It also means they're constantly fighting both Night Goblins and Dwarfs, owning the skills of this clan's military even further. Speaking of, when deployed to battle, Moors can do a little bit of everything, but they're most well known for their regimented and elite soldiers. Clan Moors storm vermin are a cut above the rest, and even their lowly clan rats can fight in something resembling the cohesion of an Empire State Troop company. Were it not for the end times, Clan Moors would very likely have been either a driving force in Skaven society for change, or at the very least the catalyst of yet another Skaven civil war. And if you don't mind me saying, I would bet that Clan Moors would be the first time the powers to be of Skaven Blight didn't come out on top. Clan Moors are not good guys. At their kindest, they don't view their fellows as comrades, but as tools to be cultivated, which is still leagues above other Skaven, such as Queek Headtaker's relationship with Nodwell, that of a prized attack dog to be thrown at his enemies. But once again, it's far better than what the rest of Skavendom has to offer. As for Age of Sigmar, all the great clans have become types of clans, so now it isn't just Clan Eshin, for instance, but the Clans Eshin. They all still act the same way, though. A Skaven is still a Skaven, even if their branding has been diluted just a bit. The only odd man out amongst these clans is Clan Moors, who seem to have vanished. That being said, the clan's verminous seem to be the replacement, and indeed have the same basic shtick of Skaven clan that has better normal troops, so maybe they just rebranded themselves to celebrate the new setting. And those are the major clans of the Skaven. Some a bit more regimented, some a bit more technological, all complete and utter assholes. And remember, even the weakest of Skaven clans can be found right underneath your house at this very moment. Thank you as always to my wonderful channel members. You are the great clans to my Skaven Under Empire, standing out just that little bit prouder than all the rest. I like them. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to subscribe
so cool.
or
Free
become
end
a
times.
member.
He's like 4 years
Either
old.
way,
This
thank
does
you
so
for
much.
watching, and take care out there.
This 4-year-old that gets you. Yeah, that was good. I liked learning about all those. They're cool. They're cool. I like them. I like them. Yeah, that was a good summary. It was very like easily digestible. Like I processed what their deals are. I like processed what everyone's deal is. That was good. I like them. Moors technically isn't a great clan, but they've got such a reputation and rose to power so fast they had a serious chance of becoming one until the end times happened. Yeah. Yeah. Skaven are kind of cool, not gonna lie. If it's like this in the PSP version, I'm gonna play them for short. Yeah. There's an Easter egg at the end of the video, I think. Oh. Let me leave it playing. Let me leave it going then. I do see there is actually like a tiny little like bit there. Wait, let me head past the patrons.
Alright, you gotta pick one. You either have to fight 1 storm vermin or 10 Skaven slaves on the verge of death by starvation. I'm taking the storm vermin. Logically, he's probably quite well fed and could kill me, but I bet I can talk my way out of it. Not by appealing to his morals or anything, god no, he's still a Skaven, but I bet I can BS my way into convincing him there's a Grey Seer right behind him, or that his stash of warp tokens has been discovered. Either way, I can then get out of there. Those 10 Skaven slaves, meanwhile, may all go down in a single hit, but they're gonna be vicious and ready to die for the slightest bit of food, which would be me. Even if I do win that fight, I'm coming out of it with rabies at the least. Warhammer has a lot of rats.
Yeah. See, but consider, what if you feed the storm vermin the 10 Skaven slaves? And then I don't even have to be there. I don't even have to be there. Just let the other guy eat them. Just let the other guy eat them. He'll have it. Have you watched the older factions of Warhammer videos? I might have watched... I'm not sure. I have to look at which ones I've watched already. But, okay, I think I'm gonna take a speedy bathroom break real quick. And then I'll be back for the next video. It is another Skaven one, also by Pancreas No Work. Go! Yeah, it's another one, but this one's about, like, Skaven society. It's about, like the day-to-day life, I think. So that'll be fun to watch. We'll be watching that one as soon as I get back. I'll be right back!
Boxing, boxing, boxing! Yay!
We back. We back. Oh, I forgot to change the explainy text. There we go. Grab that.
Yay!
Yay! They would hydrate.
Bye, Mom.
I ventured to the beach of red tides only to fear drowning in the crimson waves by some Vtuber period Dragon website. I don't know. I don't know.
Yay!
Thank you for the 100 bits, Shinobi. Thank you for the 100 bits. I don't know. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. It was like the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. Like everyone talking about it. It's scary. Action 9 returns. We're back. Okay, I do need to update this text. Properties. And replace that with... Bam. Oh wait, I need to make the thing wider. Wait. Why have you... Oh, onto the other line. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and then shrink it back down. No, wrong direction. Okay, that was upside down. That's not correct. Okay, and then shuffle lower. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, this is the next one that we're watching. I love Boss is visibly happy whenever there's a rat on screen. I love rats. I love to see the rats. I also love... I love that the bars have broken again since I walked away. Love that. I love that. Hi Mabel! Are you better yet? Mostly. I still have like a little bit of a sniffle, but better. Better. Better than I was. Take the hydrate. I've been informed of a Yuri Cafe. Yes! Hi Mabel! Who's your favorite clan so far? I think probably... I don't know, I still am just a big fan of the body horror and the guns, I will be honest. I think I definitely have a bias towards Clan Scribe because they're the ones I started with. But I'm also a big fan of the horrifying body horror stuff. I will do it specifically if you say you want me to. I think it'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun to have some vlog footage of it. It'd be kind of fun to have some vlog footage of it, I will be honest. Ready to go distant donation bars? I know, also I have to answer a text for a second. One moment. There we go. We back. Yippee! Mabel, I saw something terrifying today. The Dual Logs has a plushie. He does. Actually, I never got one. I never got one. Some of the others got one. He never sent me one. He never sent me one. Do you want mine? I have two. You have two? He didn't even send me one. He hates me. He gave me two. Mochi did things. I know. Mochi did like a full torture stream. Yeah, Mochi tortured it. I mean, if you have a spare. If you have a spare. I mean, I taught Mochi what waterboarding was that day. Yeah, that was great. That was a good stream. Mochi did the correct thing. Exactly. Speaking of the dual logs, he said, some of our normie also women stuff, implying he thinks women are not normal. Wow, well, he's a hater. He's a hater for real. Someone should get him. So what's next? Ah yeah, so, next up on the list, we are watching Skaven Society, The Life Misery of the Funny Rat Things. Which is, another Pancreas No Work video. This one is quite recent, I believe, actually. This one came out a month ago. Yeah, this one's a new one. So, we're gonna be learning about, like, Skaven life, and, like, what happens outside of the war. And during the war, I imagine there's a lot of war, kind of overall. Just kind of overall. VGM? Yeah, yeah. Let me, ow, my face. I hit my headphones on the microphone again. Okay, there we go. Yes, we are gonna be watching Skaven Society, The Life Misery for the Funny Rat Things by Pancreas No Work. Cause I just want to learn more Skaven stuff, as appropriate to the last video. Yeah. War in my Warham? War in my Warham? It's rats all the way down. It's rats all the way down. Did you see the Mpreg Pancreas No Work Stim tweeted? No! No, I did not! And now I have some questions. Now I have some questions to ask Stim, I think. Now I think I need to ask Stim some questions. I think I need to ask Stim some questions. Press conference over, no question. Fair, fair. I'm personally an orc fan because we believed we could fly so hard that we can is funny. That's hilarious. That's all I know about the orcs, is that their abilities are solely based on, do you believe? If yes, they can. Stim loves bullying Princess Pancreas. That's great. I love that. I love that. Can we go back? I missed it. Oh no, what'd you miss? What'd you miss? Greetings, hello, Ratkin. Hi, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we are watching Skaven Society, The Life Misery of the Funny Rat Things by Pancreas No Work, to learn more about the Skaven stuff, because I like the Skaven. Okay, let's begin. Oh, wait, why is it muted? Why is it muted? I did an intro and everything.
Different to each other.
I did an intro and everything, and I ruined it. I ruined it immediately. They were the one bitching at me. The orcs belief is so strong, there was a space marine who ran out of bullets and started making gun noises since they believed the bullets, they just kept dying. I have heard that one. I have heard that one. In Dawn of War 4 orc trailer, the war boss pushes a crash faster button. Arisa sickish. They do call me the sickish. They do call me the sickish. Do this Warhammer codes on Discord work? I believe so, yes. I believe so. I didn't realize it was a Twitter thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they did work. Thank you so much for that. Okay.
A Joker reference. Moving on from that, every civilization has society. This is not news. These societies are also oftentimes vastly different to each other. This too, I hope, is not news to you. In Warhammer, these societies are naturally all very warlike for one reason or another. Some of them would honestly rather not be at war. The Craftworld Eldar would prefer if people just left them alone, for the most part, and the Dwarfs aren't actually the biggest fans of war. They're just even less a fan of letting bygones be bygones. For one reason or another, even the factions would like nothing more than peace have to prepare for war, because when demon invasions are as regular as the weather, a few stockpiled armories is a smart plan to stay alive. But just about all these societies, even some of the Chaos ones, have things about them that aren't completely awful. There's downtime when they aren't actively stabbing puppies or whatever. There's marketplaces and restaurants and bars and things to do to actually have fun. Even Hive Worlds will at least have a community place where people can be miserable together in the 4 hours a week they aren't working. But the Skaven truly do live in a society. From top to bottom, it is awful. There's not a single aspect of it that isn't evil to the core. And quite frankly, Skaven society shouldn't work. And yet it does. By the skin of its teeth, and it's perpetually in a state of being ready to explode into civil war, but Skaven society just barely works. So today, let's look at what the life in the day of a Skaven is like. From the lowest of Skaven slaves to the highest of Grey Seers, you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy, but at least it's damn funny to look at. But before we begin, might you be hungry? If you aren't now, you will be eventually, and for that I've just the thing. Factor, the sponsor of this video.
No, hunger has been
Factor is
wished
the meal
upon
delivery
me.
service that
Hunger
sends
has been
fresh,
wished upon me.
chef-cooked
I am
and
hungry now.
dietitian-approved meals straight to your front door. You know
I
what makes
am
Factor
hungry
great?
now.
A few things, but first and foremost being how convenient and simple it is. There's no prep, there's no cleanup, no cooking time.
I am
Put the package in
hungry.
the microwave for 2 minutes, take it out, and enjoy yourself a nice meal. That's it. That's all you have to do to enjoy one of these fine meals. And not only do
I'm
they have high
hungry.
standards, having banned over 175 ingredients for being used
Do you have
because
soup?
they didn't make
No,
the
I don't
cut,
have
but they're
soup
also
today.
good for a healthy, balanced diet.
I don't have
you
soup
get veggies
today.
with your meals and all the carbs,
think
fats, and what
Factor
have
has
you that are the
sand
perfectly good
meals.
kind to ensure you're eating healthy. Factor's great for me come
Listen,
that time of day
I'm
when I
not gonna
remember
go
I should
out of
probably
my way to
eat
eat
something.
sand. It's
Be that
just
midnight,
that
5 in the afternoon, or whatever else.
if the
They're great when the
opportunity
realization that my
arises,
body does in fact need food
I'm not
kicks
gonna
in, but I
not
don't feel like
do it.
cooking. If you too want to get yourself some high-quality Factor meals, look no further.
How much is
Head to
soup?
factor75.com
I don't know. I think it depends
or
on the
click link
soup.
below
So
and
if I
use
were to
code
send you sand, I'd eat it,
PancreasFB50
yeah.
to get 50% off your first
I'd eat
Factor
it.
box plus
You add a
free
salt lick to
breakfast for
throw in, I
1
really
year.
should.
That's code PancreasFB50 at factor75.com to get 50%
I
off
really
plus
should.
free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and
I know if
qualifying
Vtuber eats a
auto-renewing
pile of
subscription
salt with
purchase.
each meal,
With
I think
Factor,
it's
eating has never been
really
easier,
nice.
so why don't you order yourself some today?
Salt
Now then,
is
time
good
to
for
kill
my
murder
heart
your neighbor
condition.
and take steal his valuables. A lot of the lore I have for you today can be found in the
Girl,
old Warhammer
what?
Fantasy Roleplay
What?
supplement, Children of the Horned Rat, which is probably the single most comprehensive look at what the Skaven get up to. Some of it is
Whoa.
likely not quite canon anymore, because for instance, this book is old enough that necromancy wasn't essentially just limited to the vampire counts and tomb kings in some ways, but for the most part it still holds up and it's a fun read regardless. Properly
Huh.
start, let's look at Skaven society as a
Rat
whole
book, rat
rather
book.
than any one class of them, I guess you could call it.
I'll buy you the salt lick added. Okay, fine. Let me quickly pull up Throne and I'll add a salt lick. Let me pull up Throne, I'll add a salt lick. Do they just have salt licks as an option on Throne? Is that an option? Is that an option? Do they just have them? They don't just have salt licks. Why do they not just have salt lick as an option? Where do you get a salt lick from? How do you get a salt lick? How do you get a salt lick? Salt lick. Amazon. I can add it through. They only have horse ones. They only have salt licks for horses. They only have salt licks for horses. I want them for me. I want them for me. Why do they only have them for animals? I want a salt lick for human people. This should be a sign. What if I just want it for me? Bubba eats horse food, be like Bubba. I should. They only have them for like rabbits and stuff. They are for horses. What if I want a salt lick for me? Just turn yourself into an Uma Musume. I think that's the natural course of action. For people. I don't want one for a horse. I want one for me. I want salt lick for me. Time for rebred to mimic horse. No. Man. There's a salt lick original dry rub, which is probably a human seasoning. Salt lick dry rub. Why aren't there salt licks for people? Why aren't there salt licks for people? Did you take your meds? I did. Salty lollipop might be what you're looking for. Is that a thing? Salt snack. Salt snack. I want salt. Not pistachios, though. I'm not that into pistachios. There's like seaweed packets. Those don't really have the right vibe. That's not really what I'm going for. That's not really what I'm going for. Was there like a... like salted... There's only like salted caramel protein bar? You don't have to lick it right as long as you don't eat it. You just have to lick it right as long as you don't eat all of it, then it should be fine. Just buy like a box of salt. I think I just do like a box of salt. You can just buy a horse salt lick. You gotta lick it really slowly and have a jug of water on hand. I kinda want it. I kind of want one. Thank you to subscribe, welcome, welcome. Salt lickers with added minerals for livestock that aren't good for you. They don't make salt licks formulated for humans. Because why? What do you mean because why? I want one! Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the 100 bits. I have a salt bake recipe that could be converted into a salt lick, but how are you with egg whites? I don't mind egg whites. Thank you for the 1 bit. They give salt packets to people in the military. They only taste good if you need salt, interestingly. How do I get salt? Raw salt packet of just salt from cafe, packet of salt and nothing else. They've only got like salted caramel protein bars. Just buy a salt mine. I'm gonna eat the whole mine. I'm gonna eat the whole mine. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. All of it at once. That's the plan. Is salted caramel protein bar energy caffeinated dark chocolate? I don't want caffeinated dark chocolate. I want salt in a packet. I should just buy a jar of table salt. They do make salt licks for rats. Why can't they have one for me? I have a people tongue. Hope you're feeling better, rat. I am. I feel a little bit less sick, but I do just want to eat salt. I want a salt lick. Why do they not give me this as an option? Salt and camembert cookies. Okay, well this is not exactly what I was looking at, but I mean, I gotta add something to the throne while I'm here. Your Pika is showing. Sometimes I would like to eat a salt. How about bath salts? I think maybe that's a worse plan, but I would consider it. I would consider it. I would. Okay, this is all I could find. I found, like, a salt snack. That's the closest I could get. That's the closest I could get. What is this? There are salt blocks for cooking? There is. There is. What is this one? Red Thing Watch Funny Video. I will soon, I promise, I promise. We don't have Walmart! We don't have Walmart! I can't buy from Walmart! Veggie stock cube. What happens if you lick a salt lamp? Bad things. Okay, let's watch the video. This is Skaven Society, the life misery of the funny rat things. Bam.
There is, above all else, 2 rules you need to keep in mind for the day-to-day life of Skaven society. They are that shit flows downhill, and the attitude for almost every single Skaven in existence is fuck you, got mine. Do you know how you get promoted in Skaven society almost without fault? Kill the person directly above you, and do so in a way that means you can take his stuff. If you want better gear, kill another rat with better gear while he sleeps.
Exactly.
If you're an acolyte, be it a scry or tech rat or one to a grey seer, kill them and take their badge of office before explaining to their own superiors that they died of a tragic accident and gave you their position right before. Alternatively, explain how they were trying to sabotage the Council of 13 or their own clan's head of state, and you valiantly stopped them. No one cares what actually happened, not truly. They'll keep an eye on you, but that's just what happens for everyone sufficiently within a Skaven higher-up's notice. Rewards are expected to be given out in Skaven society, but these are the barest of scraps at least as often as not. If you save a leader from the treachery of another rat, and again this doesn't need to be actual treachery, you can just lie about it, he'll likely give you a warp token and a slightly sharper sword. All Skaven are incredibly selfish, but part of that is knowing when to pay someone so they don't decide it'd be more economical to just kill you and take your place. The backstabbing cannot be overstated. The average Skaven is involved in at least a dozen different betrayals in varying degrees a day. Have you ever read that statistic that you're only like 5 degrees of separation from basically anyone on the planet if you look in the right places?
Oh yeah.
It's like that, only in this case a given Skaven is only ever 5 betrayals away from a council member somewhere being murdered through a massive butterfly effect of backstabbing. There's exactly 2 reasons why they haven't just fallen apart en masse. They breed like rats, as is fitting, and they hate everyone else just barely more than they hate each other. But that barely part in itself can't be overstated either. They spend almost all their time fighting each other because they want more power within the Under Empire's hierarchy before they do anything else. Even when they invade the surface world, unless the Great Horned Rat is physically there to tell them to behave, they'll begin sabotaging each other mid-invasion. Here's the average Skaven invasion. Say they want to take down an Imperial city. The leader announces his grand plan. He then immediately looks to have the most obviously ambitious for his spot Skaven put into positions where they'll die in the fighting. His immediate underlings all seek to sabotage each other, because that will make them look better in front of the leader that's expected to give them some kind of reward, as well as to ensure they'll have more power and loot at the end by virtue of there being less rats to share it with. Their underlings are doing the same thing. Eventually we go down far enough the chain of command where we find the Skaven that don't really have underlings to boss around. In this case, they'll still be kicking Skaven slaves in the ribs for funsies, but they'll also be trying to figure out how to position themselves in the upcoming fighting so all the rats around them die instead. By the time the invasion is underway, we are likely looking at about 1/5 of the rats initially involved having died or dying almost immediately, because Skaven view casualties amongst their ranks like we view high scores in an arcade cabinet. Sabotage, assassination, well, Skaven slaves probably just fall apart sometimes. This goes on until the invasion succeeds or fails. If it succeeds, a new round of backstabbing occurs so that whoever is left standing can take all the credit in front of the Council of 13. If it fails, everyone conjures up an infinite number of reasons as to why it was actually all the other Skaven's fault and why they were only doing what was best for Skavendom, being paragons of virtue. Imagine that scenario, but it's always happening. Shit flows downhill, that part, by the way. This is everywhere, perhaps more so than even the backstabbing. You can find my favorite instance of this in the Thankwol books, because those books are peak from start to finish. Let's say a high-ranking rat is chewed out by his superiors. A Grey Seer is admonished by the Council of 13, but for whatever reason, isn't obliterated on the spot. He will then go on to punish his underlings because he feels bad and is angry at the world, but he can't just start slinging spells at the council. Well, after they get abused, all of his underlings will abuse their underlings to feel better about themselves. This goes all the way to the bottom until we get instances like the Thankwol one, where the clan rats on the boat Thankwol's using to travel start beating their slaves for explicitly no other reason than to look busy and because they were angry they got yelled at by the guy Thankwol yelled at. This can also just happen because a given rat feels like being an asshole, which is always, but the end result is somewhere down the line an abused little rat man needing to reassert his dominance, and so he starts beating his underlings over the head with a stick. For some more generalities, Skaven society is actually quite religious. Arguably the most religious in all of Warhammer, save for the traditional Chaos gods. And I feel like that's kind of cheating, because having your god only demand worship by you going to war in a wargame setting is religious easy mode. The Horned Rat is an all-encompassing thing, with them giving praise to him at every possible opportunity. Not at all shockingly, this is not done out of true reverence to the Rat God. This is because they fear him, and he more than happily kills them for no reason when he gets the chance. Consequently, all echelons of Skaven society gives him praise. Heresy against the Horned...
See, I don't know why, but I was picturing, like, the Horned Rat to be some kind of... You know, usually when there's, like mythical, godly figures in like a piece of media, they're kind of like distant, you know? You kind of witness them through a fog of some kind, you know? They're not usually actively involved. I love that the Horned Rat is just killing people. Like he's right there and he's beating people up for fun. There is nothing distant about him. There he is. There he is. He's involved. He's here. He's present. He just shows up. Hey, I love that. I didn't know that before today. I thought it was just kind of, you know, praise the Horned Rat, that he's out there. He's out there. He's just right there. He's just showing up. Gods of Warhammer are very involved. Yeah, I knew that about the other ones. I didn't know that the Horned Rat was included. He just does eat rats sometimes. Imagine you wake up one day on our real and present Earth, and you find out, like, immediate, objective proof that a biblical Christian god is real, but only because he reached his hand through your window and just gobbled you down like a chocolate bar. I feel like that's what happens to the Skaven. Sometimes God's just hanging out and wants a snack. He's just a little hungry. He's just a little hungry. The Great Horned Rat is just a guy playing a God Sim game. He's just playing The Sims. He's just playing The Sims. And you have the avatar of the Horned Rat. Oh yeah, I should have my horns on while I'm doing Warhammer stuff. I should have these out while I'm doing Warhammer stuff. That feels appropriate. That feels appropriate. Sometimes God also wants to be a silly little guy. Exactly, exactly. Okay, let's continue.
Rat, and this is in fact the proper definition of heresy, which is to go against established dogma, is ruthlessly quelled. Clan Pestilent's entire existence is considered by basically every Skaven outside of it to be incredibly heretical against the Horned Rat. They're just too powerful for anyone to do anything about it. At least not without massive amounts of harm to themselves, which given how selfish the Skaven are, means that barring the Skaven civil wars, there's only the standard amount of sabotage against Clan Pestilence. Their fear of the Horned Rat and respect born of it means that the Skaven also will become genuinely enraged if even something as small as a banner with his image on it is torn down, if only because, again, they fear what he'll do to them if they don't avenge it. Skaven are also required to go to church once a day, and if they don't, they'll be accused of heresy, atheism, and general treason. Naturally, those all lead to death, because even in Warhammer Fantasy, you cannot escape Prayer Day. The Skaven language...
Thank you the 5! Thank you, thank you! Thank you, thank you! Thank you, Spurlock, for the 5. Thank you for the super. Thank you, thank you. The Horned Rat is uniquely present in the lives of his subjects, unfortunately for every Skaven. Exactly. Thank you for the follow Mochi's right hand. There's another one. Oh, man. Yeah, thank you for the super. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 5. It's the Horned Rat. It is. The horns seem so odd after all this time. I know. I never use them. I never use them. I need to start using them during Warhammer stuff. They feel appropriate, you know? Emphasis on unfortunately. Yeah. Does the Ratkin enjoy the Fallout franchise? I've never played any of them, but I do really enjoy the Monster Factory Final Pam saga. That's kind of the extent of my knowledge on Fallout 4 specifically. And thank you for the subscribe. Welcome. Okay, let's continue.
Squeakish is a language of squeaks, growls, and other various noises like that. Even when they speak it as opposed to other languages, they still say words twice and will often frequently jam 2 words together with the same meaning. Their writing is based on pictograms, because pictures are easier, simpler than alphabets, apparently.
Exactly.
Well, it's not like there's Skaven kindergarten, so maybe that's a good thing. For some last few fun facts before we move on to the tiers of Skaven society, there is an entire segment in the Children of the Horned Rat dedicated to infanticide. If a Skaven clan conquers the burrow of another, it is customary to eat all the youngling Skavens of the defeated clan. The same page also makes mention of how respect is a cornerstone of Skaven culture, which is hilarious to say out loud. Of course, the book really means that sucking up to your leader is customary, not actual respect. While the book mentions that there's undoubtedly at least one Skaven under your feet relatively closely at all times as well, it also says Skaven Blight only has a population of 250,000. Feel free to add a 0 or 2 to that number, I certainly do. And for a nice bit of gross to end off on, Skaven females. They're kept bloated and drugged and exist solely to pump out more Skaven. There is a single line at the end of the segment about them hinting this is at least potentially a ruse, partially, and in one of the Thanquol novels, a rival Skaven has roided up Skaven females as bodyguards. Lovely, truly. Also, do not look up art of female Skaven. Not even because it's going to show you a bunch of disgusting, bloated rat people, it's just an ungodly amount of furry smut. Out of all the races to crank the hog to, you freaks chose the Skaven. Shame on you all. Anyways, let's look at their casts
I'm unsurprised by this. I'm unsurprised by this.
Did you know that the Skaven, in spite of their incredible racism and general hate for beings that aren't themselves, can actually be incredibly egalitarian? Why, you'll never find a race that treats outsiders as equally as they do their own kind. This is because they treat the slaves of other races and Skaven slaves exactly the same, by throwing them into a meat grinder. And
I love
no,
that this
that's
image
not
keeps
always
coming
metaphorical. Soylent Green is made out of Skaven. Skaven slaves largely come from either Skaven that have been harshly punished but not killed, runts of the litter that weren't outright butchered for food, and defeated clans that had their members absorbed into the victor. To be clear, all Skaven are mistreated by their superiors, but not only are the superiors of the Skaven slaves everyone, but it's turbocharged for them. This level of the Skaven hierarchy explicitly exists to be used for however long they happen to live, and then turned into food at the best of times. At least the average clan rat might have a small little nook and cranny he can sleep in at night. At least there's times they aren't being abused by someone above them. Skaven slaves live in a city's slave pens, piled atop each other until some taskmaster or other puts them to work on the next project. Getting the meagerest scraps of food, the best case scenario for them is likely starving to death so they don't die in a more horrific way. A given Skaven slave's only chance of escaping this position is to either steal his fellow slaves' food or outright eat them, and then try and find a clan rat to then take the position of instead. How bad these rats have it is mind-breaking and how horrific it is, because there's no injustice you can think of that a Skaven slave hasn't been put through.
You just have to identity theft your way out of your societal position. Okay, to live in that scenario, horrible. You know, wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. However, in concept, very funny. In concept, having to identity theft your way up the societal chain of command is very funny. Hey, why does Dave from HR look suspiciously like our old groundskeeper? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, man. Skaven call center scams inbound, yes, yes, call out on the far squeaker. Skaven office. Oh, man. Internet gonna internet? Yup. Thank you for the follow, Mochi's toilet. How many are there? How many of you are there? Oh, man. Well, Dave can now fire you and bury you 6 feet under. Not anymore, I'm Dave now.
This is either the largest or second largest grouping of Skaven behind clan rats, depending on how many slaves are being created at a given time, and they perform the bulk of the grunt work that makes the Skaven Empire possible. Across all Skaven settlements, from Skaven Blight to the humblest of burrows, you can find massive groups of them farming black corn, rowing boats, running on treadmills to provide electricity, all things that, since they're Skaven, have a life expectancy of about a week tops, and that's if one of the aforementioned tantral spirals doesn't occur and one of their superiors starts gnawing on their legs to calm down after his boss yelled at them. And when it's time for battle, these rats are the first in line to rush down the enemies of Skaven kind. Not because victory gives them a chance at climbing the ranks, not at all. They'll just be sent back to the slave pits when the fighting's done. No, they do so because at least when they start stabbing Empire State troops, there's a chance they won't die. Assuming they'll make it that far is almost laughable though, because Skaven slaves' purpose on the battlefield is mostly just to soak up enemy ranged attacks and tire out enemy infantry if they make it that far up. Another fun fact, Skaven slaves used to not only cost not even 3 points per model during one edition of Warhammer Fantasy, but they were one of, if not the only unit in all of Warhammer that you were allowed to shoot at an enemy unit they were in melee combat with. Yeah, if you missed, you'd shoot them instead, but who gives a shit? They're Skaven slaves. That's why they exist. Various other races can be found alongside Skaven slaves being worked to death as well, with the Skaven having varying preferences of race. They prefer humans, both because they're everywhere, and because human flesh is legitimately the Skaven's favorite food as a race. Dwarves are prized because they're tough and sturdy, though breaking their wills is quite difficult, so they're a rarity. Halflings are usually turned into cattle because they're largely useless compared to people for manual labor. If you're a Skaven that can get his hands on a slave ogre, that's a win, or at least a tidy profit if you sell it to Clan Mulder, and elves are rarely seen for a variety of reasons. Their life expectancies are typically just as short as the Skaven slaves they work alongside, though sometimes a Skaven may keep a non-Skaven slave around for a bit longer for prestige purposes or to get a specific use out of it. And quite frankly, the conditions are so hard for them that I imagine a good chunk of Skaven slaves just almost die at random. Drop dead in the middle of whatever because they're starving, or wounded, or infected, or all three. The average day of a Skaven slave likely goes as follows. Wake up by being hit in the face with a whip, and enjoy yourself a nice dusting of gruel that's going to last you the entire day. Hopefully, you can eat the corpse of the nearest slave that's dead for one reason or another. Whatever your assigned task is, you are then forced to it. If you're lucky, this is a task that isn't diving headfirst into an orc wah because your superiors decided that's the best use of your soon-to-end life. Assuming that isn't your task, I hope you enjoyed the next 20 many hours of brutal work, which at best is likely broken up by your overseers throwing a carcass or something rotten into your workplace and telling you and your fellows to go nuts. You're eventually herded back to the slave pits, no doubt receiving plenty of scrapes, lashes, and boots up your ass the entire time. And overall, it sucks. It sucks so bad to be a Skaven slave. The only thing that's likely worse is someone whose soul has been devoured by chaos. And to briefly go into Age of Sigmar for a moment, the Skaven somehow managed to top even that. Skaven slaves are used in large parts to dig the tunnels in between the realms the Skaven use for transit. Sometimes, a Skaven just falls out of the tunnel into an infinite realm of nothingness. Maybe they die, maybe they fall for all eternity. I don't know the specifics, but I know it's horrifying. Much like the Dark Eldar, if you find yourself as a non-Skaven about to be enslaved, just end your life. There's a non-zero chance you'll be eaten alive, a massive chance you'll be worked to death, and if you're sold to Clan Moulder, they might fuse you with their furniture, much like the Dark Eldar do. There's no happy ending for Skaven slaves, just death. The closest chance they got was a Skaven slave named Scabbicus, who tried to leave a genuine slave revolution. The Council of 13 told his army they'd spare them if they turned him in, whereupon they descended upon him en masse. And the Council killed the rebelling slaves anyways. Such is life in the depths of the Under Empire.
Rip. Clan rat.
Moving up the hierarchy of rats, we come to the clan rats. Conditions here are still abhorrent, but we've reached the point in Skaven society where a given rat has some modicum of value to the powers that be. Not much value, I can't stress that enough. High-ranking Skaven will kill clan rats at the drop of a hat. But clan rats are to be used and abused, as opposed to the use of them being to be abused, if that makes sense. This is the most populated tier of Skaven society, excepting those few moments when there's an influx of Skaven slaves that haven't been worked to death yet. As it turns out, the majority of clan rats are employed as warriors, although that leftover minority is no doubt still millions of rats worth of laborers. While they don't have to exist in the slave pens, they still live in overcrowded barracks and have to fight for everything they need. The difference to me between these and Skaven slaves largely comes down to specifics. A clan rat could feasibly do well enough on a given day that at least for a moment, they could fill their basic needs. Maybe they can scrounge up enough warp tokens to afford to stay at one of the various inns that even the Skaven have, and a nice-ish meal of only somewhat rotten meat. Perhaps they can even steal a properly maintained weapon, although the majority of them are still taking rusty spears and swords to the field of battle, which in itself is an improvement over Skaven slaves. The Skaven do in fact have marketplaces and town squares, with the example settlement from Children of the Horned Rat mentioning how they'll frequently have names such as Big Squeak, because of course that's the name of one of these places. Used and abused is the motto, however. Clan rats in fact tend to be the first ones to die when the Skaven are doing some kind of experiment or test, for example. Skaven slaves have a limited number of uses by virtue of them being on the bottom of the barrel. They'll frequently be just desperate enough, for instance, that if handed a new scry or weapon and told to give it a test fire, they may damn well turn it on the creator of it. Clan rats, however, in addition to being a bit better off and therefore healthier and more capable, also have just enough to lose that they'll likely think twice about doing that kind of thing. If they think they can get away with it, then without question they'll try and pull one over on their superiors, but the risk versus reward is a bit more skewed towards risk in this case. Clan rats are the second wave of any Skaven invasion after the slaves have all died, and they're sent into fights that would be at least nice if the Skaven could win, although if they don't, it might not be the end of the invasion or anything like that. If clan rats are part of the main thrust of the invasion, then they'll likely be seen as a massive tide of rodents swarming over everything in a near numberless horde. They'll fight a bit better, a bit longer, a bit more bravely than Skaven slaves, but much like grunts in Halo, if they see an important enough rat get capped, they'll still run for the hills. Or tunnels, as it were. It is at least somewhat important to note that this is where the Skaven habit of actually scheming, as opposed to just shivving your neighbor out of the blue, comes into existence. Skaven slaves, by virtue of how low they are, don't really have the opportunity to form a proper scheme, with the exception of maybe trying to organize a slave rebellion. Given that it's a Skaven slave rebellion, that's less of a scheme and more 50 emaciated rats jumping a dude. Clan rats, however, have just enough resources and potentially influence, at least in their given group of rats, that they could organize some kind of plot against a higher-up or rival. These kinds of events happen at all times in the Skaven Under Empire, with thousands of clan rats dying every day, which are promptly replaced by the thousands born every day. Aside from this, the clan rats performing labor or doing tasks honestly not that dissimilar from Skaven slaves, just ones that might require a bit of learned knowledge. The Skaven slave runs on the treadmill of the excavators to power them, but clan rats might be tasked with loading cargo onto the Skaven ships, or hammering out more swords in rusty factories. It's nothing glamorous, but it's the kind of job that's slightly beyond being worked to death in a warpstone mine, and with slightly better rewards and life expectancy. If no Skaven slaves are around, however, clan rats will promptly be put into the same jobs. Clan rats are not considered worth keeping around beyond the need for a living Skaven to do an act. Just because they're worth more than the rats in chains doesn't mean they're worth a lot. To put it another way, 1 is 10 times as valuable as 0.1. It's still not a terribly large number. It's very important to note the singular exception to this rule, however, clan mores. In clan mores, and this is something you can assume to be true for the rest of the tiers of Skaven society as well, backstabbing is generally disapproved of unless the leader is completely incompetent, and the clan rats can expect to have almost decent lives. Certainly by Skaven standards, it might as well be a paradise, because clan mores has discovered the secret that a little bit of carrot goes well with the stick. Clan rats of clan mores can expect to receive at least basic training fairly regularly, as well as living standards where they won't outright starve to death if they don't plot against their neighbors regularly. This has allowed them to essentially go from nobodies to a contender for becoming the 5th great Skaven clan in fairly short order. And overall, if you for some ungodly reason found yourself as a Skaven, try and make your way to clan mores territory as soon as possible. They don't even send conquered Skaven to the Skaven slave pits unless they're treacherous or truly worthless.
See, that's the plan. If you want to do the body horror stuff and the guns, go to clan mores. And then once you get powerful in clan mores, then take over a different one. Just, climb your way up, but, on the easier ladder. And then you can go get the guns and the body horror, but you'll be in charge and not turned into them. Clan Moore is the most insane by Skaven standards clan. Yes, I like them. I didn't know much about them before, but I like the vibe of that one. It's interesting, that they're like functional. Should we start calling you Big Squeak? Yes.
Here we get to the point that a given Skaven's life has actual, genuine value. Still not much, but the backstabbing goes from at the first conceivable opportunity to after they've done something productive for me first. At this level of Skaven is where you find the various properly trained workers of Skavendom, as much as any Skaven can be said to be properly trained. Merchants, lower tier scryer acolytes, those brave few innkeepers that are probably regularly murdered and replaced by a different one every week. This is where skilled labor can be found amongst the Skaven. As much as Skaven research equipment and general technology does usually explode if you touch it too hard, it does still require all sorts of personnel to create and maintain. If nothing else, the Skaven who creates something usually has an army of underlings they tested on and/or steal the design ideas from. This is the level where that sort of Skaven exists. Able to potentially afford something as luxurious as their own small burrow in some corner of a Skaven city, these Skaven wield a small but noticeable amount of power, at least in day-to-day life. They certainly aren't bringing clans to warfare, but they can afford to send a clan rat or a dozen to jump you if they think their schemes require it. As a result, not only is this the level that I imagine most average Skaven scheme towards reaching, but this is where the most varied schemes happen. It's the happy middle ground, and please allow me to explain. The higher up you go, the larger things get, as is expected. The Council of 13 aren't hiring a random clan rat to mug you in an alley, they're sending Deathmaster Snikch after you. Which is spectacular, to be sure, but there's something to be said for lower-scale scheming and having to get creative with limited resources. On the other hand, at this level, a given Skaven can afford something truly spectacular if they work hard towards it and put their all into it. They aren't just gathering fellow poor rats to jump a slightly less poor rat. They have resources, contacts, and influence to bring to bear, yet at the same time it's not enough where they can just say their name and every Skaven around will bend over backwards out of fear. This is where the most dynamic treachery happens, where planning and resources come into equal part out of necessity. Of course, an important fact about this Skaven is that every single rat wants to climb to the top, so the fellows here would rise above if they can. Viciously fighting to become a member of the Council of 13 is regular, and if they got that far, chances are they seek the day they can become the Emperor of all Skavendom by themselves. Hell, Thanquol once on a power trip said he might one day try to overthrow the Great Horned Rat. Ambition is key to all Skaven, and at this level, that ambition has the potential to be truly grand. Beyond that, the Skaven here are the most likely ones to live something approximating a normal life. Something where they have to pay the bills, take out the trash, that kind of thing. Not quite as domestic as an actual person would have, but this is the closest thing the Skaven have to the middle class by my estimation. The average day for one of these fellows indeed involves clocking into work and dealing with whatever their overlord says it's time to work on. Pestilence might work on a plague, Molder Skaven on some other creature or other, but it's a nice old-fashioned kind of deal in some ways. They clock in their 12 hours at the ball-crushing factory before going home to do whatever the hell. No doubt they concoct all sorts of schemes in their off time, but that's generally just what Skaven do in their downtime. It's how they relax. This is also
do
roughly
love
where you
to
can find the
scheme to
standouts
relax.
of a given
We
clan.
do know this.
Plague monks and gutter runners, for instance, are about at this level, the stereotypical image of their clans that give them their shtick. Life is still a struggle even for them, but it's a struggle with something to look forward to at the end of the day. That something is paid for in lesser Skaven blood, but that's just their society. The most noticeable type of Skaven in this class are the Storm Vermin. For those unaware, Storm Vermin are the elite infantry of the Skaven. Of course not equal to the elite of other factions, these are nonetheless Skaven who by virtue of being born with black fur are a cut above the rest, given training to accommodate them and turned into the elite forces and bodyguards of any given Skaven army. They do get some resistance from the common Skaven politicking because of this, but to make up for it, they'd have to deal with other Storm Vermin rivals of equal upbringing, as well as being used as disposable pawns in the schemes of higher Skaven. For reference, in Halo the Spartan 3s were used when ODSTs couldn't get a job done, and Spartan 2s couldn't do it without dying. That's where Storm Vermin often lay in the upper echelons of Skaven politics. The Grey Seer needs an important task done, but the survival of the rat doing it is largely irrelevant.
Warlords and
This is where we get
graziers.
to the movers and shakers of Skaven society. At the word of a single rat at this level, thousands of lesser ones will mobilize and then die for their betters. For the benefits of this level before anything else, these rats wield great power and can enjoy the benefits such a station brings. Access to breeders, because yes, that is a reward in Skaven society, they're so awful. Warp tokens aplenty, a near-endless supply of minions. Even for the worse-off clans known as slave clans, those who are thralls to a greater one, these Skaven still rule over their underlings even if they do answer to a higher power other than the Council of 13. Politics are an actual thing that happens at this level, not just the Skaven version of politics. Trade deals between clans, the bargaining of massive amounts of slaves, invasions of the surface on at least a localized level. These Skaven wield tremendous power over a localized area, oftentimes quite large areas if they're one of the better off warlord clans. Speaking of, this is as good a type of any to talk about the different kinds of clans. I've spoken before about the four great clans of Scryer, Pestilence, Eshin, and Mulder, the ones that are the most powerful by far and influence all the Skaven clans beneath them in some way or other. Clan
we
Wars
learned
as
about
well,
these in the
which as
last video.
discussed became a contender to become the 5th great clan by virtue of being slightly closer to lawful evil than any other one. Aside from that, however, there are two other types of clan: Warlord clan and Thrall or Slave clan. The lore calls them Thrall clans, but let's be honest here, they're slaves to a greater one. Warlord clans are Skaven clans that aren't powerful enough to be great clans, but also aren't under the direct ownership of another clan. This is the average Skaven clan, where all the above tiers of castes, or whoever you want to call them, exist. They oftentimes will have a slightly different culture to the rest of Skavendom, or at least a gimmick. Clan Scurvy, for instance, is exactly what you think something called Clan Scurvy is. Pirate rats. At the same time, the influence of the great clans is not only so all-encompassing, but perhaps more importantly, those are the models GW sells, that naturally those kinds of things still show up in Warlord clans. As the average for Skaven clans, Warlord ones can vary in power from strong enough to at least be a speed bump to a great clan, to barely hanging on out but still technically independent. Believe it or not, alliances are a frequent thing amongst these clans. Alliances of convenience based on bullying each other where everyone involved is ready to turn on the other at the drop of a hat, but it is still an alliance with treaties and expectations. When the Skaven invade, you'll rarely find the main clan behind it being the only clan involved, as warlords call upon all the other rats they can through whatever means they can scrounge up. A given Skaven clan will likely have, if nothing else, various Scryer acolytes and Mulder packmasters, provided they have the funds to buy them, because all Skaven want rat ogres and ratling guns in their arsenal. Bribery and blackmail for us is the sign of a corrupt individual, but for the Skaven, that's just another way to acquire resources and manpower. Thrall clans, meanwhile, are those that willingly or not have become direct vassals of a warlord clan, or more often, one of the great clans. These Skaven tend to be the poorest of the bunch by default, because no Skaven would submit to another unless there was no choice in the matter. That said, this does happen willingly fairly often. Becoming a Thrall clan to a greater one affords you some amount of resources and protection, if for no other reason than the new Skaven overlords of the Thrall clan will view you as their stuff, and Skaven like their stuff. Even in these instances, however, I'm still comfortable calling them slave clans. A Thrall clan still has a degree of separation between them and the main one, so a warlord of the greater clan is almost certainly going to bleed the Thrall clan dry in a given battle before deploying their own troops. An example of a Thrall clan would be Clan Septic. Clan Septic, in a rather unusual turn of events for Skaven, see themselves not just as thralls of Clan Pestilence, but as their right-hand men. They, by Skaven standards, throw themselves into battle with incredible fervor, because they fully believe in the cause of the Pestilent Brotherhood. Clan Pestilence naturally loves this, because that means more rats that aren't directly part of Clan Pestilence to soften up an enemy with. Despite this, they somehow keep coming out of these fights alive, so maybe the Horn Rat does have a soft spot for them. Thrall clans in particular have to be especially careful with their politicking. As the underlings of a stronger one, if they're too brazen with gaining power, then there's a high chance their master clan will smash them flat for getting out of line, especially if they outright rebel. In that case, it'll be straight to the Skaven slave pens for any survivors. At the very least, if they have a really good loot haul, their master clan is likely to take almost all of it. Warlord clans, however, have to face not only that kind of problem, as the great clans aren't exactly willing to let a fifth one rise up if they can help it, but also have to be careful with expanding too rapidly. These clans are oftentimes large enough that if a rival Skaven seeks to claim the title of Warlord, he can easily take a chunk of a Warlord's clan's Skaven and resources with him in a civil war, which creates another Warlord clan. For these reasons, all the clans have to tread carefully. Or, well, they try to. As you're likely aware, the Skaven are also rampagingly incompetent, and most of them aren't thankful who get away with it by virtue of being funny to their patron god. Sooner or later, strife comes to a Skaven clan, and how they handle it decides if it ends up being a Warlord clan, becoming a Thrall clan, or the entire thing being subsumed to another clan's ranks of slaves. Grey Seers are different, however. While they can be the warlord of a clan, such as Seer Lord Kritislik on the Council of 13, most of the time they're independent agents. This would usually be astonishingly stupid in Skaven society, as despite all the backstabbing, being alone means you're open to just normal stabbing by 50 other rats. However, Grey Seers are basically their own class of Skaven. I've just lumped them in with warlords because they have roughly as much power as one. Grey Seers are Skaven born with grey fur that act as not only the wizards of the Skaven, but as emissaries of the Council of 13 and the prophets of the Horned Rat himself. There's only ever 169 of them at a time, because 13 by 13 is 169. All of the Skaven fear them on some level for all of these reasons. The simplest is the wizardry. While Scryer does have their warp magitech, Clan Eshin as sorcerers, and Clan Pestilence has their magical plagues, by and large, only Grey Seers are allowed to practice outright magic. Any other Skaven doing it has to be very careful and is more than likely to get caught and killed, which is why Clan Eshin and Pestilence are the only ones to really get away with it by virtue of their power and influence. Scryer, meanwhile, is in a weird middle ground where it's tolerated if only because their weapons are too useful. Got a bit sidetracked there, but because the Grey Seers are the trained mages of Skavendom, all the other rats fear them, because when you piss one off, they might just blow you away on the spot. That happens all the time. Again, go read Thanquol's books. You should do that anyways. At least some of the instances in them of this aren't happening by him, by the way. Few things scare a Skaven more than a Grey Seer's ire for that reason alone, because every single one of them is more than happy to use power word kill on the first rat to bother them. Even if a Skaven covers himself in foolproof magical protective wards and could just ignore a Grey Seer's magic like Marnius Calgar in Space Marine 2, he's not likely to survive the follow-up punishment sent by the Council or the Horned Rat himself for disobeying his prophets. Other Skaven warlords and leaders do of course still sabotage their efforts and occasionally try to see them killed, but for even the lowliest Grey Seer, they have to be far more careful with it. If you see a Grey Rat with horns on his head walking around seemingly without a care in the world, it's probably because he just ass-blasted some dude to Kingdom Come for being uppity, and knows the display has earned him about 5 minutes at least of not needing to fear for his life. That said, all bets are off when it comes to other Grey Seers sabotaging them. It's a constant game of assassinations there as it is for the rest of Skaven society, only this time with the added knowledge that the person trying to kill a Grey Seer is no doubt also a powerful mage. And of course, can't forget about their own apprentices. There's a lot more than just 169 Skaven born with grey fur every year, which is the mark of a future Grey Seer. These rats become apprentices to an existing Grey Seer, aka slaves and servants at the best of times, and whenever a new position opens up, one of them will take on the role. How do you think this position usually opens up, viewer? Did you guess an apprentice kills his master? Because, yeah, that's generally how it goes. Failing that, another Grey Seer might kill an apprentice's master, and then blackmails that apprentice to become a Grey Seer that's under their influence. Or a Grey Seer dies in battle and the apprentice just takes their place. That does admittedly happen plenty often enough. Grey Seers also have to contend with the Council of 13's wrath directly, which of course Thanquol's had to figure out how to survive on plenty of occasions. Just because they're high up doesn't mean that they're invulnerable, but by virtue of being born grey, they have far more access to luxuries, breeders, and power than almost every other Skaven could hope to achieve. As a quick final note, you could argue that the albino guard of the Council of 13 might be at this level. Similar to how Grey Seers are their voice, an albino storm vermin is a personal guard of the Council of 13. Bred and trained to be actually loyal to the council, these Skaven go through hellish training to become some of the strongest warriors around, protecting the council as well as Grey Seers in general. They're all mute, they may actually be mutants or just dye their fur white, or maybe just turns white magically once they become part of the council guard. Either way, while they don't hold much political power, they are fairly immune to typical Skaven backstabbing by virtue of being actually well fed and compensated in exchange for guarding the leaders of the Skaven. That's largely why I'm lumping them in at this level, and because one of them showing up means either the council is interested in you or an important Grey Seer or warlord has come to town. Mess with them and it will not end well.
Council of 13. Okay, I wanted to learn about these because it keeps getting referenced and I don't actually know what it means. I don't actually know what it means. Let me see what funny number exactly. Yeah, I think Prophet's a Grey Seer. Purple's kind of grey. In a way. It kind of. I was the Pink Seer. I'm the Pink Seer. Soul, hi! How are you? Oh my god! Hi! How are you? I'm a VTuber now. Surprised. Telling me the Skaven at Kingdom Heartsing it. The leaders of the Skaven. Yeah, I figured they were the leaders, but I don't know what the situation is with them. They have cool black hoodies. They definitely look like they have funky little cloaks on, you know? This is fun. I like the Skaven lore. I like whatever's up with them. David the followers, welcome. Yeah, I like whatever's up with them. They're spooky little rat guys. They live terrible, terrible lives. They live terrible, terrible lives, but you know, they're fun. They're fun to me. Thank you for the follow, welcome. I'm good, it's been so long. Yeah! We need to like talk. I hope you're doing well. It's been so long. Dog, you're killing it. Oh, there you. We do. I'm glad you're doing well. Council of 13. Like, most of the time I stick to the usual playstyle of just drowning my enemies in rats. Yeah, I feel like I would struggle too much at you know, our good old functional clan. I think I would struggle too much at being the functional clan because I only survive battles by flinging my rats at them, and, you know, as soon as they stop running away, I send them back in. I'm not here for, like, construction and, like, organized combat. Solace, thank you so much for gifting. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not one for structured combat. I like flinging my rats in and then dropping a nuke. I think, you know, Clan Scryer quite works well for me. Clan Scryer, I'm a fan. They're easy to comprehend in my little rat brain. Okay, Council
the true
13.
head honchos of Skavendom. These 12 rats dictate what not just a clan, but all Skaven shall do next in their quest to bring about the Great Ascendancy and drown the surface world in rats. You may be wondering why 12 rats are on the council. That's because the Horned Rat himself is technically on the 13th seat. He rarely directly intervenes, but I would still advise you to not sit in his chair. I haven't read any lore about what happens if anyone does, but I assume it's a bad idea. The warlords and other figures that make up the Council of 13 usually come from powerful clans, but Thrall clans can in fact make it on there, by the politic of their masters, of course. Clan Morbidus, a Thrall clan of Pestilence, has a seat on the council, essentially ensuring that Pestilence always has at least 2 votes on any matter. The Council of 13 is arranged like a clock around their 13th chair for their god, with the 1st and 12th seats closest to the 13th being the most powerful, and the farthest ones of the 6th and 7th being the least powerful seats. 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. The Great Clans sure enough have quite the representation here, as does the Great...
No! I thought I was free. I thought I was free from this. This video was too recent. I should have known. This Skaven race is better good. Yes. With Scryer, I just run rattling gun doom stacks. Exactly. I love my rattling guns. What's the name of this game? We are doing some reacts to different Warhammer fantasy stuff, specifically around the Skaven, because they're the ones that I play in Total War 3, and I'm trying to learn, you know, what their deal is. Free from Zoomer number? Unlikely. Nuh-uh, not Zoomer number. Not Zoomer number. That's a Gen Alpha number. I will not be lumped with them.
They see your clan, but others like clan wars that are their own thing, by and large, can be found coming and going from the council as old members die. Backstabbing at this level involves sending entire armies of lesser clans after those of another council members because of their influence. It's the kind of thing that might not even qualify as backstabbing technically, just a declaration of war. If not that, then they can orchestrate actually cunning schemes instead of just stabbing someone who isn't looking. The entire backing of Skavendom is at their beck and call, and when they decide to invade, the Skaven come out to play. Even the Thrall clan counselors, who are ultimately a slave to a greater one on the council, have the power to unmake you. Surprisingly for the Skaven, anyone is actually able to openly challenge a council member at any time. All they have to do is touch the black pillar that holds the commandments of the Horned Rat and challenge an existing member. This is a threefold problem for why it doesn't happen often though. 1. The black pillar is in the center of Skaven Blight, so anyone approaching it is likely to be murdered well before they can touch it. 2. The members of the Council of 13 are the strongest, cleverest, most powerful Skaven there are. You are almost certainly not as clever as them, and you definitely aren't as well entrenched and equipped into Skavendom as they are. Most of the time a council member is replaced is either because they achieve the legendary status for a Skaven of dying a natural death, or more likely because other councilors had them killed instead. And problem 3, which is perhaps the hardest problem to overcome, is the black pillar itself. Most of the time a rat touches it, they just blow up. Blowing up tends to be the last thing any Skaven ever wants to do, so even if they could make it to the pillar, few ever actually try. Also fun fact, most of the commandments on the pillar contradict each other. This is entirely on purpose, because the Horned Rat both wants his worshippers to be clever about getting around them, and because he finds it funny watching them squirm. The daily life of a member of the Council of 13 is trying to get the other members discredited so they can be killed later on, followed by attempting to prevent the others from doing the same thing to them. They also like to dabble in sending tens of thousands of rats to their deaths at any given moment for a scheme, an invasion, or because they're in the mood for it. Thanquil will walk in once or twice a month, whereupon they'll make him nearly shit himself before they send him off on a suicide mission he will somehow survive without fault. They'll eventually do whatever actual work needs to be done to further their own clan's goals, head back to their quarters to eat the finest of Skaven food and snort the finest of warpstone, and then retire before doing it all over again the next day. It's a vicious life, but usually the people paying for it are the underlings. I do.
Great Horned Rat is the best Chaos God. I like whatever his issue is. He's just there to be annoying. He's just there to be kind of mean. He's just inconveniencing them for fun. It's very funny. Skaven Rats are fun little things. They are. The one Councilman Clan Scryer is 400 years old. Oh yeah, that guy! That guy was mentioned before! Praise the Horned Rat, praise the Vermin Lady. So true, so true. He's a perfect middle manager, exactly. He knows his job description.
I do not mean Skaven courting rituals, because those don't exist. Instead, I mean how they interact with the other races. Obviously everyone hates them and they hate everyone, and it's a lot of knives, but there are some differences between individual groups. I also don't know where to talk specifically about this bit, if not this video, so here it is. Humanity is on a sliding scale of being aware and ready to combat the Skaven. Bretonnia is at the bottom because they suck. This comes directly from the Children of the Horned Rat book, and while it is in universe written by an Imperial, I choose to believe he's right and not being biased at all. Eat shit, Bretonnia, I hate you, please die. The Empire lies in the middle. By and large, the official word is that there's no such thing as the Skaven. Maybe there's just beastmen that happen to look like rats.
I still have beef with Bretonnia.
Witch hunters, of course, know the truth and fight them.
I know I defeated Bretonnia in the end. I know I won. I need to win again. Forever. I need to repeatedly stomp Bretonnia for the crimes that they did in response to the crimes that I did at them first. Bretonnia, just learn to remove Musume. No, no, please.
And the Empire does have its rat catchers who prowl the sewers as a preventative measure against lesser Skaven incursions. Tylea, meanwhile, is a nation that has the misfortune of being directly next to Skavenblight, and so does not have the luxury of pretending the Ratmen don't exist. They fight them tooth and nail and acknowledge their existence, but have largely seen success in fighting them off prior to the end times, where no one won, so I don't count it. Dwarfs are the enemy that Skaven have most fought since the beginning of time, but with both of them living underground. The war has kind of been back and forth. Initially, dwarfs were a difficult foe to face, then the Skaven adapted and began overrunning many holds. Then the dwarfs learned how to properly counter them, which shifted it back in their favor. Then the Skaven invented flamethrowers and chemical warfare, which held them out. Nowadays, the two races are still in frequent conflict, but not as often as you might think. Most dwarf holds have fallen with many to Skaven control, and the Skaven often find it easier to fight each other than the stout Dowie. Chaos Dwarfs' interactions are limited and oftentimes revolve around slave gathering by both sides, although I would assume at least once in history a Scryer Rat and Chaos Dwarf Demonsmith collaborated on a mad science project. I choose to say and believe this has happened because I like the mental image of the various abominations that could come out of that pairing from hell.
Exactly.
Also, a quick unrelated question for you all. Who do you think would create the most monstrous thing given a week? Perturabo, Icket Claw, the medic from Team Fortress 2, or Shockwave? My money's on Shockwave, personally, although the medics would still be the funniest for sure. The Skaven also by and large try to avoid the elves. They can't get into Athel-Loren because the ground is alive and hates them, and they can't get to Ulthuan because it's a continent that doubles as a boat. It's very hard to dig a tunnel through the water, it turns out. They do occasionally have dealings with the Dark Elves, since both races are awful slavers, but both sides also betray each other at every chance. The Orcs are probably the most frequently worked with race for the Skaven, although it is noted in Children of the Horned Rat that this usually ends up with the Orcs in question finding out why that's a terrible idea once they're done working together. Goblins are much more wary of the Skaven, being smarter than Orcs and being aware the Skaven are literal rat bastards because of it. There's also the Night Goblins, who also make their home underground and as such frequently come into conflict with the rats. Places like Carrick 8 Peaks are a hotbed of Goblin and Skaven warfare, featuring the dwarfs that occasionally try to reclaim their old home. Ogres just view Skaven as meat, so they aren't worth considering, and the forces of chaos are a bit more varied in opinions, but it of course trends to bad. Everyone knows the Skaven are awful, so no alliance ever lasts. Nurgle gets along with Clan Pestilence alright, but alright is the best case scenario, and there's still plenty of betrayal. That attitude is itself mostly an Age of Sigmar anyways, because of the Grand Alliance system. Slaanesh forces would find them completely distasteful, with the potential exception of a Slaaneshi demon prince that really likes the iPhoney rat video. Hope that sentence ruined someone's day, by the way. Zeech probably appreciates the scheming nature of the Skaven, but he's still not going to work with them. Core and likely how much bloodshed they create,
so that I don't have to learn.
Their cowardice. And in general, they do all work together occasionally, but only for the shortest amounts of time. Beastmen are interesting in their relationship, but more in a meta way. In older editions of Warhammer Fantasy, they were essentially just an offshoot, if stable, race of Beastmen. They were their own thing, but they were a subtype of Beastmen. Kind of like abhumans over in 40k. This was done away with, sometimes made ambiguous, and it seems by the time of Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition it was the case that many who learned of the Skaven thought of them as Beastmen, but they aren't. They do have quite a bit in common, it should be said though, as much like the Skaven, the Beastmen are savage, disgusting creatures worthy of contempt who live in squalid conditions of—
Hey, hello? Double jump scare, what's happening? Where'd that come from? Stem is just slowly zooming in at me. She's just zooming in at me. Stem? Stem? Stem, what are you doing here? Stem, this is the rat video. Stem, this is the rat video. Why are you here? For context, Stem is there because she slandered elves on a stream with Pancreas. Wait, hold on, I have to check that. I have to check that notification. I have to check that notification. Where was it? Oh my god! Neptune! Neptune, thank you! Neptune got me the salt cookies. Neptune, thank you! Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you! Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Scattershoe spotted me. Get spotted, get spotted, get spotted. Get noticed, get noticed, get noticed. Don't forget that Stem also likes the Bretonia. She likes Bretonia? Stem. This is a betrayal. This is a betrayal. She heard Beastman. Why would she pick Beastman when she could have Rat? Stim likes Petronia and dislikes elves, which makes them direct opposites. Well, see, here's where I come in. I hate them both. I hate them both. They were both mean to me. She may have been a little too candid about her love of Beastmen and horses. She likes Beastmen because they're sweaty. Stem! Stem. Someone get her under control.
Of might makes right and treachery that you should
Someone
hate.
get her under control.
Oh, and I guessed Grand Cathay for a bit had a clannish and assassin as an advisor, like at the Dragon Emperor. There was briefly a Skaven advising a human nation as an official, legal, known-about advisor. Was Zhao Ming in charge of this? I feel like Zhao Ming was the reason that happened. And that is at least the basics of Skaven
Stim's a freak and we know this, we do.
I wanted to talk about the Ratmen, so I talked about the Ratmen. Stay
love
tuned
the
for the next
Ratmen.
video where I just talk
I
unscripted
love
about the
the
Skaven after
Ratmen.
8 beers. Thank you as always to my wonderful channel members. You are the Skaven slaves to my Skaven under empire, toiling
I love
away
the
to keep this
Ratmen.
horrendous monstrosity I have going. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to
Stim
subscribe or
Pancreas
become
have a
a member.
brother-sister type
Either
of
way,
thing where they
thank
like to
you for
harass each
watching.
other.
For those who celebrate, have a Merry
I'm
Christmas,
seeing that from the
have a
Stim
Happy New
jump
Year,
scare.
and of course, take care out there.
I really wasn't expecting a Stim jump scare. See, that's the part they don't tell you. You know, that's the part you don't expect when you get into, you know, being a creator, is that sometimes your friends just show up places. Sometimes you're watching something and your friend is just there. You never expect it, but it keeps happening frequently. Like, for example, before I started playing Crusader Kings 3, before I started playing Crusader Kings, I wanted to play it because I had been binge watching Jillian videos. Lo and behold, guess who collabs with Jillian? One Violet Moonheart. I didn't know they knew each other. They collabed like days later. What do you mean? No one expects Stim to Inquisition. Exactly. Yeah, it's very funny. Sometimes your friends just appear in things, and you never expect it. Okay, that's how 2 Skaven-focused videos. But I do have more on the list. Vtuber is a web spun by a spider high on cocaine. Exactly. Okay, let's see. What else have I got on this list? Okay, let me highlight these 2 as we've watched them. I made a Google Doc to remember what was there. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, there's this. There's like an animated pilot that's like a couple minutes long that came up in my YouTube suggested. So I figured it'd be fun to watch it, like, no context. I don't know anything about it, but it just sort of like appeared. So I think maybe we could watch that. I think it'd be kind of neat to check out, like, fully blind. Does the rat play D&D? There's a officially way to play Skaven in D&D 5e. There is. I play D&D 5e, like, twice a week, frequently. Like, frequently. I greatly enjoy D&D 5e. What do you mean I can play Skaven in there? What do you mean I can play Skaven in there? I do like to joke that Stim is the reverse Ricky collecting Warhammer lore video creators. Exactly. She's too powerful. She's too powerful. Someone needs to stop her. Okay, this came up in my recommended. It's an animated pilot from 4 days ago. I know nothing about it. Truly, I am going into this entirely blind. It is called Gluttony. Not Gluttony. Hold on, let me add the, let me change this title description. I encountered this fully randomly. And then... There we go. Why does it keep... Backspace. Keeps adding enter buttons. There we go. Okay. This. Thank you for the 1 bit. Thank you. Tasha's custom lineage, you can name it Skaven and take mobile as their racial feat. Hell yeah. Are you aware that Miwa did a Warhammer 40k Primarch's Mashal Pass with Warhammer? I am not. I did not know that, but should I be afraid? Should I be afraid by what Miwa selected? Should I be scared of Miwa's taste? Should I be scared of Miwa's taste? Pancreas is a good video on Thankwall. Oh yeah, I'll need to watch that at some point too. I need to watch those at some point too. I think we're gonna pause the, I think we're gonna pause Skaven stuff for now though. Not really? Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. This is, Gluttony. It is only 6 minutes long, but it's an animated pilot that came up in my suggested. And I like watching stuff, so I figured this would be fun to just check out fully blind. I know nothing about this. Truly nothing. Wait, let me... Boop. No more Warhammer. Okay, so let's see what this is. This is the Gluttony with an M pilot episode. Let's see what this is.
9月1日火曜日、ウィンダム高等学院。ああ、まだ信じられない。今日からここで勉強できるなんて。
Oh, look how cute the style is.
新しい学校で新たなスタート。しかも私立。洗練されたカリキュラムに高い名声。生徒に漂うエレガントな空気。ここならいじめっ子も少ないはず。今度こそ平和に勉強に専念できるかも。例のピンクガミもここにいるに違いない。甘すぎて吐き気のするガムみたいなまがまがしい
You were wrapped in bubble gum. Why is this guy crashing out for?
待って、ここにも僕みたいな陰キャを嫌う陽キャがいたら、私立の陽キャ怖い。ツインテールも少年もねじ曲がってる。考えすぎだよね。みんな優しそうだし。
あのピンク髪はいけてないんじゃない。いてはいけない存在なんだ。中二で俺は見抜いた。
友達になれるはず。笑顔なら親しみやすく見えるよね。
友達になんかなれっこないやつはねっからなくだ。
皆さん静かに。さっさと終わらせましょう。
He knows my pink hair is a warning.
まず高速に諸手続き、初日のオリエンテーション、クラブ活動の紹介、シラバスのレビュー、放課とイベントの説明あたりですかね。
シリ、ここに来てどのくらい？トイレの場所も知らないくらい？それともそろそろ馴染めたらなくらい？
僕に話しかけてる？
そうだよ。だいたいみんな中学の頃から知り合いなの。だから君は新入生で確定だね。ちなみに私はイエン。
She's cute. I like her.
新入り？フリーズしてる？
ああ、ごめん。転入してきて初日で緊張しちゃって。僕はアベル、アベルボッシュです。
His name's Apple, but spelled wrong.
さてと、今日はこれで終わりです。追加の書類を出さなきゃいけない人は生徒会に行って自分で何とかしてください。みんな高校生だからそのくらいできますよね。私は退勤しますので。じゃ。
Okay.
書類あるなら一緒に生徒会行く？
ああ、はい。今行きます。
Plot twist when? I know, I'm waiting for something crazy to happen.
待たせてごめん。うちらのピンクの綿毛ちゃんはどこ？同じクラスじゃなかった？
そうだけど、ホームルームが終わった瞬間にいなくなったの。何か予定でもある？
クラスメートと一緒に雑談をしながら歩くなんて信じられないよ。待って、なんで僕？これが罠だったら？あえて親切にして後でからかうとか？新種のいじめだったらどうしよう？逃げるか？
まずい。これ生徒会に出しといてくれる？今度ランチおごるからありがとう。やつにしましま触覚部屋を見られたらやばい。
この僕が風紀を乱す安っぽいコスプレ髪を見逃すと思ったか。戻ってこい。
I like the expressions. I like that the facial expressions keep doing that. Must head to bed till the rat thing. Hope to see you later. Yeah, goodbye. Thank you for stopping in. Worm. Probably a centipede, but worm. Everything is a worm, I
免除の
believe.
書類を受理しました。
ありがとうございます、生徒会長さん。
グライドでいいですよ。
はい、グライドさん。
もう一つの件ですが、オルタナティブな文化を守るために校内での髪色自由とピアスを許可してほしいという要望は承認できません。校外で楽しむ分には自由ですが。
あ
So
あ、
pink
そ
hair
れ
is
もそう
natural?
ですね。
ついでにこれを通りがかりの掲示板に貼ってくれますか？
ああ、もちろんです。スクールバスサービス登録。夢のスクールバスだ。もう父さんに送ってもらったり、死にそうになりながら学校まで歩く必要もないんだ。
嬉しそうですね。バスに乗るのが待ちきれない？
バスが好きなんです。いや、というか必要なんです。運動は苦手というか。
そうだね。君の医療プロファイルに喘息って書いてあるし。
僕のなんだって？
ちょうどいいタイミングで現れたね。入っておいで。
The pink
新
head
入りの
omen.
特待生に校内を案内してもらいたいんだ。よければ君が案内してくれるかい？グリスタ。
この方は。
ああ、そうだ。まだ会っていなかったね。紹介するよ。グリスタ。僕の双子の妹だ。
やっとだね。君に出会えて嬉しい。アベルバッシュ君。君
Her
っ
eyes
て
are
とって
very
も
shiny.
甘い
There's
香
no
り
light
する。
behind them.
シナモンと焼きリンゴみたい。
She eats people? She totally eats people. She totally eats people. Those are eating people eyes, yeah. I would know. Oh, she totally eats people. She totally eats people, right? Like, surely. Surely. Yeah, Oliver was right, yeah. He was losing his marbles for a reason, I think. There's also like a lot of Polaroid photos of apples and stuff there. You know, just like the symbolism there of, you know, like, it's a lot of like worms and apples, worms and apples, worms and apples, apple pie with a worm, apple with a worm coming out of it, worms covered in blood with an apple. So I feel like, you know, maybe this is for a reason, you know? I think maybe that's, wait, where's the guy losing his marbles in class? What was he losing it over? What was he taking notes on? See, the worm again. So, like, the worm clearly is reference to her. And if there's all this worm and apple, like, imagery, like, she's totally trying to eat him. Like, she's a cannibal, right? Like, that's what's... Surely that's what's happening there. Her name means worm in Croatian? Really? Oh yeah, she totally eats people. She totally eats people. Also think of the follow, welcome. Pink dye, oh my god, we fused. Oh my god, we fused. We did a fusion. We did a fusion. Yeah, she totally eats people. I feel like that's what's happening there. Okay, but that was the... let me exit. Oh, the show's called Gluttony. Yeah, okay, she totally eats people. She totally eats people. Okay, let me mark that one off as having been watched as well. There we go. Okay. And then, I think... Let's do... Oh, this one. Okay, this one has been recommended to me for a while, and I think I watched it like years ago. But her name's the same genre of name as Hannibal Lecter. Yeah. Which is great. That's how every name should be. Yeah, I feel like I've seen this at some point in my life. Like, at some point in my life, I think I've seen this. But not in enough years to remember it at all. So, we're gonna watch this one. Let me grab the name. So we can update our little watching title. This one. Get that username. Yoink. There we are. That's the wrong bracket. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So we're gonna be learning some D&D. If you have 30 seconds to spare, there's a video on Media Chat I feel you'd appreciate. Okay, I'll look at that next. Let me go and... Is it Rat Clench's Fist of Rage? Yeah. I know the GIF from Twitter. I have used that reaction. Yes, this one is A Crap Guide to D&D 5th Edition Alignment by JoeCat. I am sure I've seen this at some point. Like, at some point in my life, I'm sure I've seen this. However, I don't remember it well enough. It's been so long. If I have seen it, I might have seen a different variation of this one. I don't know. But I don't remember anything about it. So it's functionally a first-time watch-through. Okay, this one is like 5 minutes long. So let's go.
Hi, I just wanted to take a sec for more people to notice and understand this disclaimer. Most importantly, this part. I don't actually want to upset anybody. It's all part of the character, and I hope everyone keeps that in mind. We good? Okay. Everybody likes personality quizzes, right? See what's your spirit animal, how burnt of a toasted slice of bread you are, what's your worst trait as an employee based on the brand of cereal you like to buy. They're great because most of the time, if you don't like what the quiz results give you, you can look up which answers contribute to what result and just get the one that you wanted in the first place and then brag about it on social media. Wow, would you look at that? I'm such a Slytherin because I'm so cunning, right? Yeah, well, joke's on you. That was all an intelligent ruse. I'm actually a Ravenclaw. Or am I? Same with star signs. They're just vague enough that they can boil down to, you're a thoughtful individual who sometimes overthinks things and can be impulsive, but in the end of the day wants to do the best that you can for the people you care about while never settling for the worst possible outcome. And I could say I just described a Libra and they'd eat that shit up like they're a pet that just found some stray cardboard. Luckily, Dungeons & Dragons doesn't have any of that dumb personality shit that nerds argue about for hours on the internet in hopes to totally pwn the other side with facts and logic or anything. Welcome to A Crap Guide to D&D.
I think I would be
An
a
old
kind
relic
of
of the
piece of
past and the
toast.
easiest way to start fights both on and offline, the D&D alignment chart is its version of a personality quiz that no one can agree on. You've likely seen this tic-tac-toe board being used with pop culture characters being placed in each segment, giving a vague idea of what each of them means. But then all it takes is for you to put someone in the wrong place and then everyone starts throwing fists as if they had just found out that you used their facial hair razor to shave your butthole. Remember, characters can only be one alignment forever and must only ever do things considered to be that alignment because thinking about character depth and development is hard, and when people disagree with me, I take it as a personal attack. More importantly, as a player, you get to say what your character's alignment is, and no one can ever debate that you're not playing that alignment because you know your character better than they do, and they're just jealous and wish their scrubby sheet was as cool as yours, so they can suck fat nards. Small smooth brains think lawful means the literal sense as in following the law, but instead what it really means is having a strict set of rules, whether it be moral, legal, or because your boss is telling you to do it. It's one of the most predictable alignments. 99% of the time when a lawful character sets out to do something through a promise or obligation, they actually follow through, which is why they make great fitness instructors, because when they say they're not gonna fuck your mom, they actually don't fuck your mom. A lawful good act is keeping the promise because it's the right thing to do. A lawful neutral keeps the promise because it is a promise and they're gonna stick by it even if fucking your mom saves the universe. And a lawful evil keeps the promise because they're gonna fuck your dad instead since he technically didn't say anything about him. Inversely, the chaotic side of the chart are for characters that don't give a fuck about their integrity and do whatever the hell they want because they feel like it. Small smooth brains will use this alignment as an excuse to be a total wangrod and have an inconsistent character with no definable traits, also known as the chaotic alignment's more recognizable cousin, the stupid alignment, with its constant wacky lol so random XD approach to playing their character. The most common examples of chaotic acts are lying, cheating, and stealing, aka part of a rogue's balanced breakfast. A chaotic good is stealing from the rich and giving to the less fortunate. A chaotic neutral cheats to win a tournament and uses the winnings to eat something aside from a bread sandwich every night. And a chaotic evil will lie about not fucking your dad again and then burst into his bedroom as soon as you blink like a really slutty weeping angel.
Good and evil.
The good and evil sides of the alignment chart are pretty straightforward. Good is if you're a good person, and evil if you're a jackass. But that's a small smooth brain surface level understanding of good and evil, as in no, just because you don't stab people doesn't mean not stabbing them is a good act just because stabbing them is a lot easier. Good acts are ones that go out of the character's way to do good and help others, sometimes even to the good person's detriment, and oftentimes even if there's no promise of any sort of reward in return for the act. Like using your own hand to get a friend's favorite Lego set out of the toilet, even after a night of really spicy curry. In contrast, evil is pretty straightforward, i.e. actions that could actively harm people or not caring about how those
Lemons.
actions could knowingly harm people. An evil act would be being the person who threw the Lego set into the toilet, knowing full well it could be somebody's favorite. But good and evil doesn't just mean motives, it means methods too, and just because you have nice ends doesn't mean having mean means makes it any less mean. Example, you've caught a kidnapper and need to find out where they're hiding their captive so you can save them. A good act could be offering some snacks and a binge watch of their favorite show in return for information, whereas an evil act would be chopping their nipples off.
Oh.
The neutral cross of the alignment chart is for players who are terrified of commitment and refers to acts that either don't fall on either side of the good, evil, or lawful, chaotic side of the spectrum, or characters that are horse for choice and like to do whatever tickles their pickle the most depending on the situation. Maybe they'll be employee of the month for one boss and then shit on the desk of their next. Basically, the neutral ends of the alignment chart are the most pure and concentrated, like the curvature of my butt cheeks, and do basically anything and everything that could be considered the essence of that side of the chart. And of course the middle ground, true neutral, aka the one that's always playing devil's advocate for literally everything, like they spend 10 hours a day discussing opinions on Reddit. And there you have it, the totally accurate, totally objective descriptions for each side of the alignment chart with no room for any other interpretations whatsoever. And if anyone tries to argue otherwise, they can suck fat nards. Also, never let players pick their own alignment, because when they do, it actually looks like this. But that's totally because I'm such a Gemini, and we don't think people are self-aware enough to be able to categorize themselves without being subconsciously influenced by their own personal biases. And now you know how to use alignment. You're welcome.
Yippee! I wanna see the little Easter eggs again. There's like a bunch of characters popped up. Where was it? I want to see if I know, what can I recognize? What can I recognize out of all these little guys that appeared? What can I recognize out of all these little guys that appeared? Think of the one bit. Arisa's alignment, autistic neutral, autistic evil. Both of them. Both of them. Okay, so we've obviously... Okay, there's Deadpool, obviously. And then... there was... I don't know who this frog is, but the little frog in the suit pleases me. The little frog in the suit pleases me. I know, I spotted a Bubbles Powerpuff Girl somewhere in here. Okay, that's the animated Robin Hood. Also known as Furry Robin Hood. Oh, the frog is a recurring character. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, there's Bubbles Powerpuff Girl. Every villain is lemons. That's what it is, right? It's every villain is lemons. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. It's every villain is lemons, right? Yeah, I thought so. I wasn't sure if I had messed that up. That would have been embarrassing. That would have been embarrassing. I'm trying to see, is there any other ones that I recognize? I don't think so. I don't think so. None from the speedy one. Oh, the bed with the gun is also... Oh, okay, that's fun. That's fun. I like that. That was fun. I think... Is this one the most recent one? Oh no, this one's from 5 years ago. This one's from 5 years ago. I don't think I have seen this one before. I think I must have seen a different one. I must have seen another one. Okay, let's see. And we've watched... Okay, we've watched this one. Drew Cat Rocks? Yeah, I like that. That was a fun style and stuff. It was very efficient. That was very efficient. Ours is my favorite streamer ever. She bans me for no reason. Hello, Duologs. Hello, Duologs. Are you here to bully me? Thought it was banned? No, he's on YouTube. Hello, evil child. I'm not evil, mostly. Or a child. Though I know usually I don't get to fight that one. Usually I'm not allowed to fight against that one. Those allegations I'm not allowed to beat. Baba, and I took that personally. Exactly. I'm evil a little bit and distinctly an adult. Tell them about your Minecraft? What do you mean about my Minecraft? The event? Or did I invent Minecraft, the video game? Did I create Minecraft the video game? Is that what happened? Is that what happened? Let me put this back. Grab the... I can't move my windows. My god, everything's lagging. Everything's lagging. There we go. Your Minecraft videos? What do you mean my Minecraft videos? What do you mean? What Minecraft videos? What do you mean? Well, I want to see if there's other... Is there a playlist for them? Is there a playlist? Oh, there's so many! There's like 20 of them! There's like 20 of them! Thank you for the so far! Thank you, Red! Thank you! Feel better soon, sorry to hear you have a cold. Yeah, I'm getting better. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, I'm getting better. It's just a little bit of a sniffle and a little bit of a sore throat now, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Thank you for the soup, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I think we could... How many are there? I think we could do... I don't know. One for the classes, character creation, alignment, DMing. Yeah! That's a lot of characters. I sort of forget sometimes how many there are. So whether in the D&D portion of the React Doc, yeah. They're all short so you can binge them. Yeah, let's binge some. Let's binge all the character ones.
It's too cold outside. What shadowy hints of my easy-to-miss social life is dying, and I also want to argue about how pop culture characters fit into alignment charts. So it's time to make like a bunch of famous voice actors and Dungeon some Dragons. Odds are plenty of you dorkbags have heard of the hobby, but have as little understanding about how it works as anyone over 60 has about being content with living as a single childless adult who doesn't care about where they live so long as it's a roof over their head and the neighbors don't shout out racial slurs. Unless it's at half-elves, the filthy, knife-eared mongrel mutts. So print out some character sheets, go shopping for some loaded dice, pack some expired snacks, call up all those friends you can only tolerate, and put on your favorite wizarding hat. It's time to do some motherfucking role-playing. Welcome to A Crap Guide to D&D. Do you like hitting things? What am I saying? Of course you do. Everybody does. I most certainly do. All the time. Like now. And hitting things is the best thing about D&D. You can hit literally anything you want. Better yet, you can hit it with a big fuck-off axe while flying into a bloodthirsty rage so potent you could be forgiven for mistaking it for some kind of super rabies. The Barbarian is the best class for hitting everything and everyone hard enough they explode into a huge puff of confetti or a shower of blood and organs. What's the difference? They're pretty much the same thing. You get a D12 for your hit die, one of the only times you'll ever use a D12, but it does mean you'll be soaking up hits better than my pillow soaks up tears after I take a look in the mirror for a few seconds. You start with just about every important combat proficiency and any weapon of your choice. And if you're taking recommendations, I highly suggest going for the dual-wield chainsaw shotgun laser earrings with detachable missile launchers and drink dispensers. Ooh, and they have built-in cup holders, look at that. No tool proficiencies, but who cares? Nobody uses tools anyway. You pick them to add to your character for backstory purposes and then forget they exist because you only ever roll for skill checks anyway, you lazy, thoughtless gobblebright. Yes, I just made that up, and it's what you are, you stinky Feigl bitch. In fact, who even needs armor? Your pure, unadulterated chutzpah will block enemy blows better than even the shiniest of chainmail bikinis. Better yet, you have spider sense, which assists in you avoiding traps, spells, obligatory social events, and laundry. And of course, the signature trait of the barbar is being able to enter a ferocious frenzy of force that foes will fear for all their fannies. During your rage, you may be easier to hit, but at the game that you are better at hitting everything else. And not just that, your muscles grow to the size of crag-face garmoofis.
That's a made-up word.
I don't care that the things I'm using for analogies aren't real. Intelligence is a dump stat anyway. That's why mine is the number that comes after 3. And now you know how to play Barbarian. You're welcome.
Exactly. I don't think I've ever played a Barbarian before. I don't think I've ever played a Barbarian
spellcasters,
before.
Whack. Close quarters combatants, whack. Immobile tanks, whack. Me, I'm tight as fuck. First time playing D&D, I realized I'm too cool for any sort of specialized role. But that was only because I hadn't figured out that there's only one way to play it right. With a sword in one hand and a harp in the other, shouting my greatness from the rooftops, laying bitches and slaying witches. Or is it laying witches and slaying bitches? I can't quite remember. I was too busy giving the tavern owner a reason to stay in business. Welcome to A Crap Guide to D&D. Jack of all trades, master of none is still better than someone who only has one gimmick and has to hide for the rest of the fight because they've run out of class features and spell slots.
Mochi raid, hi Mochi! Thank you for the raid, welcome. How's stream? What'd you get up to? Hi, love you too. Hope you had a fun time. We're doing reacts and stuff. Yippee! Hope you had a good stream. Welcome, Ice Cubes. How are you? Hi. Stream was good. We just did some trolls on YouTube only. Ah, I see. What are you watching? Currently, we are watching Joe Cat's A Crap Guide to D&D 5th Edition. It says alignment, but that was the first video. We're just going down the playlist now. We're just going down the playlist now. Yeah. Do you know about 5e now? But Bod was pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a Bod either. I have played Cleric, Wizard. I played like I think I played a Rogue in a one-shot. And I played a Fighter in a one-shot. But and I play a Druid. I like spellcasters. I like spellcasters. Have fun. I will. Thank you for the raid again. I appreciate it.
If the Sword and Shield were an RPG class, it would be the Bard, one that's good at doing everything and doing everyone. You can cast spells, learn tons of skills, support allies, harm enemies, harm allies, support enemies, woo crowds, boo crowds, and most importantly, lay dragons. It's the most versatile class, and its various archetypes allow you to fill literally any role, so who even needs anything else? Need DPS? College of Swords. Need a tank? College of Valor. Want to make rogues useless? College of Whispers. Need to get good at the game? College of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Listen. Your most important feature, Bardic Inspiration, is like the little girl Wolverine version of the Big Daddy Logan, and is absolutely game-breaking. By being a radiant concentration of pure awesomeness, you can allow anyone else an additional die to roll and add to almost anything. Think that weak-ass wizard won't be able to make the con save against that poison attack? Inspired! The fighter needs to land the killing blow on an enemy with a high armor class? Inspired! Your wingman just told you about a hot piece of sliz that walked into a high-class tavern and that he needs you to hype him up to be able to talk his way in and maybe nab a few extras on the way out for you? You best bet your ass that homie's gonna be inspired! In fact, screw your wingman, you can do it yourself. Jack of all trades and expertise means whatever you're bad at, you're suddenly good at, and whatever you're good at, you're suddenly unbelievably amazing at. Nothing can stop you, well, maybe except a pretty face. By playing D&D, you automatically sign an unwritten contract that forces you to write your character to fall under the purest stereotype of whatever class you pick. Everybody knows you have to follow that contract or else Matt Mercer will sneak into your house and throw foam noodles at you from the corner of your living room.
No!
All wizards are smartass eggheads, all rogues are kleptomaniacs, and all bards are lust-compelled sex deviants. It's just the rules, I don't make them. And of course, the main gimmick of the bard is that it's artistically expressive in some way. People usually think this means musician. That's because their brain are like this, while my brain are like this. They can sing, dance, paint, prance, make a pretty dirt drawing with a lance. Plenty of ways to further enhance the battlefield if given the right chance. Now you know how to play bard, you're welcome.
I like the idea of a dance bard. Those are fun. I've never played one. Well, I haven't played a bot in general.
Now this may sound rather odd, but sometimes the best in the squad is the one with the cross who can smite like a boss by harnessing the bitch slap of God. With a mace that even ogres will flee, you'll cast and crush things with glee. Some think they're not strong and those people are wrong. Welcome to A Crap Guide to D&D. The support is someone everyone wants on their team, but nobody wants to be. Lucky for you, the cleric is like a support that decided to buy a taser after being too fed up with being told to heal the barbarian who ran into a 1v20 encounter. Clerics are the religious fandoms in the D&D world that are so crazy into their deities that they've turned their fangirling power into something that can actually pack a punch. Having the same armor proficiencies as a fighter and the self-sustaining capabilities of a paladin that's been juicing with unicorn hooves and dragonborn acid. They have so many teeth-grindingly infuriating spells at their disposal on top of all that dungeon masters all over the world universally agree to ban clerics from the game so as to not make encounters absolute nightmares to give proper challenge without throwing approximately 20 black dragons at one cleric alone to keep it balanced. Spells like Flash Gordon, Buddy Cop Weapon, and Does My Hand Smell Bad to You are so stupidly strong at such a low level it's easy to forget why so many uncultured swine consider the cleric a designated healer. Anyone who does has either never played the class or considered the sword and shield a viable weapon in Monster Hunter. Wait, unlike most other—
See, my favorite tactic. Inflict Wounds is a touch-based spell. So if you take the Metamagic Adept feat, you can get the one that allows you to cast touch spells from a distance, and then you have long range Inflict Wounds. And you can have a 30-foot range on the spell whose only downside is it's touch-based. So if you just take Metamagic Adept, that downside is no longer a problem, as long as you have enough sorcery points left to justify it. So you can just long range cast Inflict Wounds at 30 feet, and it's great. And then the only downside is irrelevant. It's wonderful. I love being a cleric. When I'm a cleric, I actually have to think about it. When I play my druid, I just drop wolves on people. That's really funny, but it seems like a lot of work to not cast Guiding Bolt. Yeah, but Inflict Wounds is better, you know? Anything you can't Inflict Wounds due to resistance to Guiding Bolt is that. Exactly. I found that Inflict Woundsing from a distance just has more use cases, you know? It's just more powerful. It's just a little bit stronger. It's great.
The classes, you pick your archetype at first level, and you have oodles, canoodles, and toaster strudels to choose from. To summarize, you have Heel Bitch, Nerd, Sunburn, and My Axe, Nobody Dies, Nobody Cares, and a couple of more that I'm too lazy to mention. Seriously, with how versatile and independently strong you can build a cleric, you can make up an entire party full of purely priests, call it the Amen, and bust down Tiamat's door demanding her lunch money. And she would just build her own toilet to give herself swirlies so she wouldn't have to endure the kind of bullying you're about to give her. Channel Divinity gives you special limited use effects depending on your domain, and can be as dumb as Turn Undead, where the power of the gods can make a zombie run away from you like it's regained its ability to smell and realizes you've been sleeping with your Jesus blanket that you haven't washed in months. Or as useful as Guiding Strike, where you can choose to add 10 billion points to your attack roll so you'll be able to swat one fly with another fly's deuce being whipped around on a string like a yo-yo strung around your pinky toe while blindfolded. The only downside is that you get a pitiful amount of uses, like a gym 2 weeks after New Year's. And finally, the most notable trait of the cleric is Divine Intervention, where if you were a good boy or girl all year praying happy thoughts and burning that dank holy kush, if you wish upon a star, the clouds in the heavens will part and the literal gods will stop playing their game of Jenga to fix whatever dumb problems you and your party have gotten into, and then avoid you for 7 days debating whether or not to write you a holy restraining order after seeing you pissed your pants fangirling over your religious senpai noticing you. And now you know how to play cleric. Amen.
Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah. Drop werewolves starting to fall damage. I don't know if I could drop werewolves.
I don't understand tree huggers. What has the environment ever done for us? It's not like it provides oxygen, resources for tools, housing, clothes, food, and technology or anything important like that. And it's definitely not like it's home to various species of plants and animals required to keep the ecosystem alive to continue to feed mankind's insatiable appetite to destroy, consume, and rebuild in his own image, ultimately resulting in the annihilation of the very world that brought him into existence. Nah, fuck all that. The environment clearly exists for us to skin innocent animals that are minding their own business so we can wear them as high fashion. I mean, just look at bears. All they do is steal my chips and shit in my backyard. Well, guess what, Yogi? It's payback time. And what better way to give it than undercover as one of their own? They'll never see it coming. Welcome to A Crap Guide to D&D.
Yeah, this is Druid, right?
The Druid is what happens when a ranger decides to fully commit to being a furry/hippie instead of just half-assing it because they're only trying to impress that sexy dryad they met in the forest that one time. They're primarily a casting class, but unlike clerics with their holy senpai, warlocks with their sugar daddies, bards with their awesomeness, or sorcerers with their rich magical parents' inheritance, Druid's magic comes from Mother Nature, and from first-hand experience I can tell you now she's an absolute bitch. Shut up, bitch. At second level, you can fulfill every furry's dream and transform into an animal. But not just any old lameo neon-colored oversaturated mess like Arjun Darksnout the rainbow dog with an indie band t-shirt over there. No, I mean cool animals like my original character, Grabblejean, the nocturnal giant toad. Don't steal! Your archetype will be based around whether you want to be part of the forces of nature or if you want it to work for you. To list them off, land for different flavors of spells, moon for when you want to take your fursona to the next level, dreams for if you secretly want to play a cleric, shepherd for if you want to be king of the wigglers, spores for if you want to reenact The Last of Us, and twilight for that sweet, sweet edge. Just like all the classes, your features improve with your level. Where druids differ is that their animal-related features mean that the beasts you summon or wear fursuits of don't necessarily get stronger, but rather they're thrown into the garbage and replaced by things with increasingly more fleas. Moreover, they gain additional features a regular animal couldn't imagine if it was high on devil weed, which gets fucking terrifying at later levels. Imagine this scenario. You're walking in the woods, there's no one around, and your phone is dead. Suddenly, spiky thorns sprout out around you, making movement painful. An adorable bunny rabbit sitting in front of you, seemingly harmless, suddenly starts shooting giant bees out of its eyeballs and turning the tree branches around you into black mambas. Design an encounter for that, Dungeon Master. And now you know how to play Druid. You're welcome.
I've told the story of where I'm fairly sure I've told this story, but I was playing my Druid in a campaign, and I basically, we were walking through this dungeon, and there was like an electric field that would shock us, but we had to go through a specific location. We only had one way to go, and we had to go that way, but we would get electric shocked if we went in there. So in order to figure out exactly, what was triggering it and how, I summoned 8 baboons. And I made them do it for me. Because they're very dexterous and kind of like people. We ran out of baboons. So... we ran out. Fighter-Man, overall he is fairly bland. Hit some stuff, hit some more. Outside combat is quite a bore. Look out, he is a Fighter-Man. What do you mean you ran out? I used too many baboons. We used all
Gee, I
8.
wonder
Kind
what
of like
it
people.
does.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
know,
goddamn
4 limbs,
mystery.
hairy.
Who knows? I'll say it because
That's all we
nobody
need.
else will. If you pick fighter, odds are you're also likely to pick human because you're basic like that. And that's not just me saying that, it's science. Human fighters pop out of the woodwork like rabbits on Viagra because people are incapable of choosing something unique even when they're given options like playing as a kobold paladin who prays to asteroids just before they crush an unfortunate man's cabbage cart. Just look at me, for example, artistic phenomenon and originator of the satirical talk fast genre of videos. What do you mean I'm not the first one to come up with the idea? I don't need these lies coming out of you. Everything I make is completely original and everybody knows it. Come on, Master Chief, let's get the fuck out of here. Fighters are the purest essence of the combat side of D&D, all about hitting things hard and fast, getting into the thick of the fight, and hey, you get out of here, we're not talking about you. They're all focused around rolling more dice than a Limp Bizkit song, as well as being straight up easy baby mode because you get to start using any weapon you want, heavy armor, some ranged options, a free cheesecake, and a complimentary belly rub just for picking the class. Seriously, everything about it is geared towards being so noob-friendly, even a Monster Hunter longsword player will be laughing at you. If you feel so inclined during combat, you can heal yourself, attack twice, and take a second action to attack twice again, all in the same turn. And that's at 5th level. Not to mention you getting more ability score increases than any other class means that if you go a turn without hitting at least something, then you must have made some kind of D&D sin that angered Gary Gygax, like getting weighted dice or putting milk in before your cereal. Fighter flavors allow you to pick how you want to be hitting the bad guys, like being a magic bitch that can actually take a hit, or ride a bitch while you cut down a fool, or go all out sensei mode and just decide you want advantage for every attack this turn, so you're going to absolutely destroy a bitch. But odds are, knowing most fighters out there, champion is the best bet because it's basic. Yo, we heard you like fighter, so we put more fighter in your fighter. Just be sure to make your character a rough and grizzle-faced middle-aged straight white man with a two-handed sword and a mysterious and/or tragic and/or vengeful backstory just to fit the bill. Don't want to get too creative now, do we? And now you know how to play fighter, you're welcome.
5.5 fighter is so much better. I don't think I played 5. I don't. What can they do? What can 5.5 do?
Demon Lord's just another thought. This class, great for a newbie's first time. Plenty of damage to chime. Here comes the fighter man.
My D&D party was already playing, like, both of our main running campaigns while 5.5 came out, so we pretty much have ignored it, and we're like, we'll learn that later. We'll learn that later.
Why? Because, bitch, you were taking too long. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D. Fighting is like a science and can be used for either side of the moral spectrum. It can be used for evil, like punctuating arguments, expressing a salty loss, and beating up nerds, or it can be used for good, like self-defense, artistic expression, and beating up nerds. And monks are those who have trained heavily in the nerd beating up science of mixed martial arts, foregoing any sort of traditional filthy weapon proficiencies and instead opting for wanting to punch, bam, boom, slam, kick, punch stuff. You start with no armor because, like a barbarian, you have the ability to deflect and dodge attacks with the power of your unconstrained birthday suit. But unlike barbarian, you don't have to rely on the pathetic material world to explodify goblins. You have your knuckles. Martial arts training means you can serve up extra punchables for the bad guys as a bonus action, so no matter how you're doing as Mama said, you'll be dishing out more pain-induced fistings than 2 lesbians who consider watching porn as a reasonable substitute for sex ed. But it's not all coochie destruction.
Crazy.
The monk is a slippery piece of work who's really good at avoiding any oncoming fistings, like a millennial trying to get their life together avoids self-care, by catching them if they're a fist projectile or dodging out of the way if it's an area of fists. As you grow stronger, you can translate a fist if it's punching in a different language, and avoid any infections if the fister forgot to take a shower that night. As a monk, your shtick is the key feature, but since I can't come up with any way to make this section much funnier, and also because key translates to poop in Thai, that's how I'm going to refer to it from now on. You gain more and more poop as you level up, and you can spend your poopy points on various skills to do all sorts of things, like stun people, reroll saves, mask yourself and turn invisible, and any other number of crazy things based on which anime you want to imitate. I would recommend Kensei so you could use the dual-wield
Like
chainsaw
Sonic
shotgun
the
laser
Hedgehog.
earrings if it weren't for the fact
That's
that every
my
other
anime of
archetype was
choice.
just
I'm making
cooler
my
in every
monk go
way,
fast,
wearing fancy
and then
outfits and
faster.
taking the time to actually learn how to fist properly. Oh man, what a tough decision. Do I want to use a pokey stick or do I want to fire Hadoukens and Kamehameha blasts? What an enticing decision. I'm really gonna have to think about. Don't stop, we're in luck now! And now you know how to play monk, you're welcome.
One of my D&D parties has a monk that can go like 200 foot a turn. It's ridiculous.
Boy, I love the smell of justice in the morning. There's nothing more satisfying than knowing the good name of Sword and Shield has traveled so far and wide that not even the Pokemon games are free from their incredible, awesome influence. And it's about time too. You think I created this series to entertain and inform ignorant whelps of great hobbies their miserable lives are missing out on? Fuck no, it was to enforce the mighty name of the one true weapon pairing that triumphs all others. And if anyone were to step out of line, I'd bring down the wrath of which tear-ass children tell their parents to scare them before bedtime, and then collect the aftermath of the pants they all shit because it makes for great fertilizer. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Paladin.
Do you want a tank? Do you want to fight? Do you want a class that'll instill fright, take up some plate, and keep the goblins in sight? Because you want to make sure they eat this paladin smite! The paladin is the first on a short list of hybrid-style classes, stealing a mix of features from both the fighter and the cleric, meaning it's better at physically painting the walls with blood than a cleric, but more gooder at grammar and spelling than a fighter. But it's also one of the few classes where role-playing becomes somewhat important. What? Role-playing in my role-playing game? They really should have put some kind of warning label somewhere. I'm not submitting to this shit. If I wanted to follow some sort of code, I'd become a pirate so that I could at least plunder some booty while I'm at it. Otherwise, fuck you gods. If you want me to play your game of ethics, you can kiss my shiny plate mail. Alright, fine, just follow the code and don't do anything stupid that'll cause you to lose your paladin privileges, like a spoiled rich kid who's upset that he doesn't get a 4th Maserati to crash. Like the other all-up-in-your-grill-style physical fighting classes, you gain proficiency with every goddamn combat-oriented item in the universe. And yes, that does technically mean that you can optimally play a paladin without a shield and not have to worry about being a less effective contribution to your party, but if you do that, I'm telling you now that you're wrong and I hate you and you're a big, smelly doo-doo head. As a resident big fuck-off bringer of divine justice, your job is to harness the power of holiness or whatever other wacky power, depending on what oath you pick, to have everything else die while they bounce off of your full frontal crusade like a turd in the wind. That's true for just about every combat-focused class, but the paladin is especially good at it, what with having the aforementioned fighter-cleric combo skill set. You get multiple attacks, channel divinity, a free vaccination, casting abilities, more auras than that one silly anime that nobody likes, which means you'll be so jacked that your mere presence will muscleify any nearby ally so that they look like a typical character from said silly anime that nobody likes. And lay on hands, a pool of health you can use to heal yourself or give a single hit point to your ally because that's all they deserve for not letting the rogue check the obviously booby-trapped room first. But we all know the real reason anyone picks paladin, and that's to never cast any actual spells, but instead use your spell slots to imbue your weapon with various flavors of smite! Because what good is striking down the heretics and heathens of the realm if it's not in the elemental attacking equivalent of your god sports team colors? You can smite with fire, laser pointers, brain freezes, sick bassy drops, and cheese! Cheese for everyone!
Cheese smite.
Sorry, I meant force. Force is what it says. What is this, Stargate? And now you know how to play... Wait a minute, what the hell is that noise? Just play a fighter with a bow, it's way better.
Ranger.
Alright, fine, I'll talk about the class. Ranger is the other of the bisexual style of classes, where it likes fighter, but it also likes druid, and flips between the two depending on which one looks cuter at the moment. Hell, it even steals a few things from rogue because it's so indecisive. And despite the name Ranger, you're not actually restricted to use any sort of ranged weapon in order to be effective. As far as combat goes, you get the usual fighter but not really fighter set of features. Fighting style, all weapons, extra attack, spell casting, D10 hit die, hey Macarena. From rogues, it steals the ability to channel your inner chameleon and blend into the environment. Except instead of hiding in the shadows and watching where you step, it's more like putting on makeup, so you need to take some time, have a good look in the mirror, maybe look up some tutorials while you're at it, then start over when you realize you're using the wrong shade of foundation. From druid, it steals some of that being one with nature flavor it's got going on, and a whole lot of spells, but not without a few exclusive spells of its own, like having a target explode a bunch of thorns when hit with a ranged attack, plant arrows in the ground and turn them into proximity-based fireworks, except the gunpowder is magic and the lights are bits of enemy brains, and single-handedly the objectively best ranger spell, Swift Quiver. Not for the unlimited ammo, that's dumb, nobody keeps track of their arrows anyway, but because it turns your ranged weapon into a rapid-fire machine gun.
But Joseph, you said you don't need to use a ranged weapon to be effective as a ranger. Those all sound like ranged weapon exclusive spells.
That may be true, however. Anyway, when it comes to actual unique ranger features, you can use the power of racism to decide what kind of creatures you're going to perform extra potent hate crimes on, and preferred terrain, where you can pick your favorite environment, and after trotting around picking flowers or litter, depending on what it is, you can become a fantasy Bear Grylls, which is basically real-life Bear Grylls, except with a kobold crew filming you instead. And if you worry that that sounds too situational, and that if you picked a forest terrain and the entire campaign took place in the snowy mountains would mean the feature would be more useless than a football player who got tapped on the shoulder and started clutching their knees crying in the fetal position, don't worry, you're right, and it is. What isn't situational is just about everything else involving the environment. You can sense what kids are trespassing on your lawn and then not have to worry about the weeds that might otherwise slow you down from catching them and giving them a good weapon! When it comes to flavors of the no really trust us, you can totally use melee and still be a useful class. You have Pokemon Trainer with a gun, like rogues but even dodgier, literally a monster hunter, thinking with portals, and pew 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 pew! Alright, let's address the beholder in the room. The vanilla incarnation of the ranger has a reputation of being less useful when compared to the other classes due to questionable abilities and how they function. That's not to say the class can't be useful or powerful in the right circumstances, but some consider the ranger's situational and sometimes underpowered features to leave something to be desired. However, there's nothing wrong about talking to your DM about changing how certain skills work, if that happens to be the case, so that you can have more fun at your role-playing table. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's not about how many numbers you can do to the bad guys, but whether or not you can shoot spikes out of the ground while firing bolts from your heavy crossbow atop a feathered velociraptor. And now you know how to play Ranger. You're welcome.
Ranger's all vibes.
Ever
Rangers
since
are
I
all
was a
vibes.
child, I had to grow up on the streets, wrestling alley bears for food,
This
and
rogue,
fighting
right?
guards for my own freedom. It was
Based
in
on the
those
vibes.
streets that I knew I couldn't trust anyone but myself.
rogue, right?
The only thing for sure was that I had to find
You
the
ever played
monsters
Ranger with
who
vibes
put
on the
me
line?
there,
Always.
to exact my revenge.
Just kidding,
and
I've never played a
finally
Ranger.
put my
I play
restless
Spellcasters.
hunger for blood at ease.
I
So
like
is that why you're
Spellcasters.
standing in the corner of a tavern conspicuously?
That's something deeply mysterious and
This is Wizard
intriguing
for sure.
you to find out. But I doubt you'd understand all the pain and suffering I've had to endure to...
All right then, I'll see you later.
Wait, no, you were supposed to be deeply interested and ask me more about my backstory.
Yep, it was rogue.
You know what? I'm tired of being another cog in the machine of an adventuring party. I'm going off on my own, following my own creed and doing what needs to be done. That's right, I'm going rogue. Do you get it? Rogues are the sneaky, savvy, skilly, willy utility monkeys of the Forgotten Realms, and the best pick if you're a backseat gamer since it lets you interrupt someone trying their best because they weren't doing it right. However, if you want to Mary Sue it up even more than you already are, you also get expertise so that you can upgrade those proficiencies to anime protagonist levels of ridiculous. Now I know what you're thinking, this sounds a lot like Bard, and while that's partly true, the difference is rogues aren't automatically assumed to be the comic relief.
Instead, they're deep, dark, and brooding, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, holidays
Excluded because who could be grumpy on Christmas? The other main difference is their unique combat feature, the sneak attack, and because the names in D&D are always inaccurate, you don't actually have to be low to the ground and covered in shit to deal the sneak attack bonus damage, but rather anytime the enemy's just not feeling up to it today and just wants to get it over with. This means if the enemy's being flanked, or if they're laying prone on the ground, or they just bragged about how high their IQ is, you know, things that would make them really easy to stab. You are, incidentally, not very easy to stab since you have a whopping 4 goddamn features dedicated to make you more difficult to pin down than figuring out if that teasing banter you had with your friend actually hurt their feelings or not. You can dodge when it's your turn, dodge when it's not your turn, dodge a giant ball of fire, and even dodge having to pay the bill on a first date. One especially unique trait of the rogue is their exclusive language thieves can't. Thieves can't what? I don't have the slightest clue, because it allows you to say a whole bunch of jargon that somehow translates into a completely different sentence. Timmy's having tea with the local blacksmith actually means let's go to the temple and steal some of the cleric's donations. Speaking of stealing, the thief archetype means you're especially fast at doing thiefy things, like picking locks, chugging potions, and hardcore parkour. Assassin makes your stabs extra stabby, and you can stab while disguising yourself as a child you saw who you can point to later and say they did it. Arcane Trickster basically turns you into a bard, except less talented or attractive, and allows you to hocus pocus somebody's wallet from 3 miles away. Mastermind is straight up Sherlock Holmes, complete with the assholery and catchy theme music. Swashbuckler won't stop bugging people to 1v1 them, and Scout, which is yet another better alternative to Ranger. Your job is to make sure everybody knows how much better you are at doing everything, because when the going gets tough, you know the party's going to turn to you one day and ask you to please pick the lock on the door to the king's castle because the bard accidentally kicked the guard in the genitals trying to seduce them. And you'll gladly show them all the skills you've learned from
growing up in such a harsh and unforgiving environment that was once your home, forcing you to learn questionable means and morally ambivalent beliefs in order to survive.
Just try not to cut yourself on that edge while you're at it. And now you know how to play rogue, you're welcome.
Yippee! Mimic. Mimic. Just like me for real.
Magic is dumb and stupid and makes no sense, and my brain hurts the more I try to figure out how it works. Except when bards use it, because bards are cool and mages are lame with their colorful flowy robes and giant obnoxiously fashionable hats. No, I'm not jealous, shut up! At the very least though, most of them work hard for their magical abilities, some of them cultivating it through skill and experience, others answering to a higher power, some having a codependent relationship with the arcane, and some lucky enough to have their parents bang a mystical creature and receive a small...
Gummy, thank you for the raid! Welcome, welcome! How was your stream? Hi, I am Arisa, Noonish, Dolan, Mimicata, GlitchStars, Outbreak, Nice to Squeak, yeah, welcome, welcome. Get goobed. I've been goobed. I've been goobed. Thank you for the raid, I appreciate it. I hope you had a good stream. I am just coming off of a cold, so I'm doing some chill reaction time watching videos hours to prevent myself from yapping a little bit. It's not working. I really like yapping, so, you know, it's not the most efficient way to get myself to talk less to make sure I don't damage my throat further, but we ball. Currently we're watching A Crap Guide to D&D by Joe Cat. That's the current thing on the list. That's the current thing on the list. Bite the Raiders. Get 'em! Get 'em! Get 'em! Yeah, glad to have you. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's continue. Currently we're on... Which one are we on? I've already forgotten. Which part is this? Sorcerer. Okay, we're on the Sorcerer one. We're going down the playlist. If you need to go and get some good after-stream self-care, be sure to do so. Take it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for stopping in. If you have to head out, that is A-okay. Go get your water, go get your food, go get your sleep. That is all okay with me. But if you'd like to hang out, that would be much appreciated. It's the Nepo baby class? It is.
All genetic loan of 1,000,000 mana. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D.
Okay, we didn't get the title card yet. That's why I didn't know what we were up to.
Get your stupid hats ready. It's time for the casters, where your
But I love
weapons
my
suck, your
stupid
armors
hats.
suck, and your martial skills are closer to that of the average D&D player. Instead, you'll be relying on the mystical, magnificent mass of magics. Except in this case, not really relying on, and more like bullying it into doing what you want. Sorcerers are those who disrespect the rules of magic and can easily manipulate it, like it's some young adult who's desperate for food that isn't microwaved or takeout. Maybe that's why your hit die is the one used for Monopoly games. That's right, a pathetic D6, which likely means the DM won't have to do much to make you piss your pants in fear. The Cirque du Soleil's metamagic feature means you can enhance the spells you cast by paying off the essence of arcane with the inheritance money you got from your magical parents, and allows you to influence your spells to take on a variety of effects to your liking. Its effects include, but are not limited to, biased AoEs, angry AoEs, spells that gotta go fast, say, "Nuh-uh, I totally got you, I hit your shirt, clothing counts," get an extended spell warranty, double penetration, or even cast with the sound of your armpit farts if you don't feel like talking that day. And you can do all that and more by using your sorcery points, which has got to be the two most absolutely nerdiest words you could ever put together in a single phrase. It's also a weirdly effective safe word because it allows your magical BDSM to stop so your spell slots can catch their breath and recover. With archetype,
You could also simply just not play a sorcerer and instead play any other spellcaster with the metamagic adept feat. And then you can use the sorcerer points anyway, and your spell's better, and you have spell slots.
types you have squishy clerics, zippy zappy, casty blasty, watch for the lightning,
I'm
it
just
gets
saying.
nasty. Darkness, darkness, darkness,
I'm just
scaly
saying.
in denial, and the only one that really matters, the Wheel of Wild Magic! Where
The wild
you
magic is
and
fun.
whatever other lucky souls nearby get to experience the high-octane thrills of randomness. Think your pathetic magic missile just won't cut it? Don't worry, with the right kind of luck, it could suddenly open up a one-way portal to the Fire Plains. Who knows what crazy, helpful, and/or harmful effects could happen due to your gambling addiction? Let's spin that wheel and see how wild we can get! I may have spun it a little bit too hard because of my stonkingly huge muscles, so we'll just let that go for a while. Now, the main difference between the three arcane casters is how they get their magic. While wizards take years studying for the ACT and warlocks keep having to pay interest to their demon lord shareholders, sorcerers' magic comes from the fact that they were born inherently talented instead of needing to do any actual work. That's why your casting ability is charisma, because we totally need more of those, and just because you can cast spells doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. But who cares what's smart when you can cast big spells with big effects so your big numbers can turn the big baddies into big piles of giblety experience points. Insert
Let's go
fireball
gambling.
joke. And now you know how to play sorcerer, you're welcome. Well, shit.
Let's go gambling. Your mom's beautiful. Oh, thank you.
Hey you sitting there with your saggy butt cheeks and emotionless expression. I know what you're thinking. Boy, I wish I could cast spells, but all I got is an expendable firstborn child and a willingness to work under a questionably immoral arcane master till the end of time. Well, that's just the exact sort of motivation we like for our employees at EDB Incorporated. And if you sign up with us, we'll be sure you're treated in a way that you deserve for assisting in furthering our goals to bring about the ruin of the entire multiverse. All I need you to do is sign here and agree to give us eternal servitude of your mortal soul. But on the bright side, we have dental. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D. So you want to use magic, but only as much as you want to hug that one family member you keep seeing at reunions, but aren't quite sure how you're related. Then you may want to be a warlock, the fake gamers of the Forgotten Realms. How warlocks differ from the other casters is that the amount of times you can cast your spells before running out of spell slots is absolute shit. Instead of having a set number of spells for each level of spell slot, you get a maximum of 4 spell slots for all your spells up to 5th level, and that's it. And a few other ones, but nobody cares about those. The flip side is that the spells you cast are always at their max level, and instead of having to take a long rest to get those slots back, all you need is an hour to have a wank, have a biscuit, and you're back on your feet. But you know what? Fuck real spells. You may think you're a caster, but really picking this class is purely an excuse to do nothing but cast everyone's favorite cantrip, Eldritch. Cast it at weddings, funerals, beach parties. Or you can just cast it randomly because the party's taking 5 hours to buy a single dagger from the shopkeeper and you're bored. Aside from
Eldritch
casting nothing
Blast
but
is
Eldritch
free.
all day, the main draw of the Warlock is the fact that it's the greatest game of dress-up dolls of all time. Eldritch Invocations allow you to custom tailor your Warlock so that it suits you better than my form-fit Kieran assless chaps. You can talk to animals without needing to cast a spell, go straight up invisible whenever you want, but most importantly, there are invocations that allow you to customize your Eldritch so that whenever you shoot your gobbledygook at whatever poor sap that looked at you funny, you can pull them forward and do your best Scorpion impression, snipe them from 2 blocks away, or make the beam of arcane destruction smell like strawberries if you like. But it's not all fun in Eldritch. Because remember, you've signed a pact with a patron, so your
But
power is
hold up.
being loaned to you
Also
from
me,
an
for real, for
all-powerful
real.
arcane sugar daddy. So you will have to pay interest if you want to make sure all that magic
Actually, I
stays
don't think that was
nicely
meant to be
tucked
a
in your
beholder.
eldritch sack. Luckily, they're not like bank loans because you can actually pay them off, and they're not always inherently evil. You have the choice of being bossed
As a
around by
mimic,
a
though.
literal devil who decided to make you their favorite person, so they're gonna be your mommy for a little bit. A skeleton who ironically refuses to let you die because you still owe him 2 platinum. Fairies who are just straight up assholes. Gods, so you're basically a cleric now. Literally Cthulhu. But forget all those because the only real option is to have your patron be a magically possessed sentient sword and shield that yells fuck when you swing it. Basically, you have such a huge amount of options to choose from with how you build your warlock, it's very unlikely any 2 warlocks will be the same. So get your shopping baskets, light some candles, have fun customizing. Oh, and remember you have to sacrifice 3 more babies by the end of the week or you're fired! And now you know how to play warlock. You're
Don't know if you noticed, but there's a sub-story in the videos. The bard saw the paladin, fell in love, and now they were getting married. Really? I need to pay attention to this. Okay, the paladin is the one with the big old shield. Where's the bard? Which one was the bard? Oh, the tiefling. Okay, I need to pay attention to this. I need to pay attention to this. They were the what streak they could dig you.
Impressive, you know? I mean, I've never had a student score 0 in everything before.
What do you mean? I chose exactly the perfect spell for every situation.
Well, you answered Fireball for every question.
Okay, now here's
Which a
Wizard.
point person within fireball distance.
What I mean is you can't
This is Wizard
expect a
visual.
big damaging area of effect spell to be the answer for everything. Maybe try some different spells, maybe minor illusion to trick the enemy. You can find a fae or a fiend to serve as your familiar, or even prestidigitation. It has a surprising amount of uses, even though it costs nothing.
I'm about to prestidigitate all over your desk if you keep suggesting lame-o spells.
What I'm saying is you should
Look.
expand your horizons. A wizard is the apex of the arcane, the ultimate utility caster, and one of these days you're gonna find yourself in an encounter where Fireball isn't gonna... Where'd he
He's
go?
another D&D animator. Oh, that's fun.
What the fuck?
Welcome to a crap guide to D&D!
Wizard time.
The classic, the OG, the frail old man with a stick that shoots magic missiles at a few goblins and then has to go door to door telling his neighbors he's a registered hex offender. The wizard is the most powerful class if you ignore any other
Wizard.
classes that are stronger, which are all of them, because this thing is more fragile than a single layered sheet of toilet paper that's been soaking in the soggy crack of a bridge troll's ass cheeks. This class is the sorcerer's lamer, more studious, dorky neighbor who does all the hard work for none of the recognition. You get saving throws and intelligence and wisdom instead of constitution and charisma, so sure you'll be able to ace that pop quiz and not have to worry about being distracted, but you won't be able to hold your liquor or score any hot dates at Chad Firebolt's party in the golden mansion his chromatic dragon dad bought him. If you're looking for the silver
Simply try
lining, the
harder.
wizard is definitely the heaviest case of be careful who you call ugly in magic school. The wizard's spell list is thicker than the Storm King's thunder thighs. You gain spell slots like a shower drain gets hair, and during a short rest you can even choose a small amount of spell slots to recover depending on your level. Best of all, at higher levels you even get the ability to cast your favorite low-level spells as many times as you like. But who are we kidding? You're likely going to be dead before you reach that high, either killed by your own fireballs or killed by all your pissed off allies who were caught in your own fireballs. But hold your horses there, Mr. I actually believe wizard memes are as funny in the game as they are on social media. All your spells are tied to your spellbook because wizards have short-term memory loss, and unless it's a cantrip, you can only cast a spell if you have a 3-step tutorial with pictures to color. But the work doesn't just stop there. The stronger spells at higher levels are going to need expensive magical components to cast them if you don't want to embarrass yourself with arcanal dysfunction and suddenly your finger of death feels more like a finger of mild discomfort. People say wizards are the utility casters because of the massive amount of spells at their disposal, many of which are apparently great for a wide range of situations. I'm here to smartly inform you that those people are stupid. Use Fireball and only Fireball. Nothing but Fireball. Just Fireball. Just Fireball. Just Fireball. Because they are the nerds of D&D, wizards have an unhealthy amount of knowledge
Hello,
of all of the
Alphys.
different schools of magic.
Oh my
So
God,
instead of
it's
having their
Alphys.
archetypes based around a certain theme, they get one for each of the aforementioned schools of magic, which is too damn many to go over, and frankly, I don't have the time or gummy bears to last a whole lecture. Instead, I'm going to quickly summarize each school of magic, and also war magic, cause fuck you, and I'm gonna do it all in song! Evocation elements to burn or shock or freeze your friends. Necromancy spares the dying, or you could just resurrect them. Abjuration keeps you safe and almost makes your armor fair. Divination helps you sense, detect, commune, and talk to bears. Conjuration, portals and make stuff for free. Transmutation, turn things into other things. With enchantment, buff the buff or in between. And delusion, visual tricks to prank the brain with fear and silence. Blur and go invisible, pretend you're someone else's dad. Disguise, mislead, take on their life. War magic is like tank mage, getting lots of defense, flexing as you cast. And now you know how to play wizard, you're welcome.
Oh, it ended. It ended quicker than I expected. Oh, there's a theme song. We won't listen to the whole theme song. Well, wait, what if I nightcore it? Hold on, hold on, hold on. I made it anxious. Gives your theme song anxiety, gives your theme song anxiety, gives your theme song anxiety, gives your theme song anxiety. Of course I know what Nightcore is. Of course I know what Nightcore is. Gives your theme song anxiety, gives your theme song anxiety, gives your theme song anxiety. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Okay. Okay, we have... Let's see. It looks like... yeah, we can do... Let's just do Artificer to round out the classes. Let's round out the classes, then we can watch the rest another time. We can watch the others another time. We'll round out the classes at least, though.
A wise man once said magic is dumb and stupid and makes no sense, and I trust that man. He wields a sword and a shield, so why use magic when you can use big brain energy and the power of science? And I know how much nerds love science, so much that they won't shut up about it and one day start making weird advances towards their Texas Instrument. Listen, we all have our urges, but seriously, get a server room. Welcome to a crap guide to D&D. It's about damn time we got another intelligence caster. The stat is about as commonly used for spellcasting as your bedroom is used for sexy times. The artificer is an inventor who decided traditional magical means by accomplished wizards and scholars are too mainstream and decided to come up with their own magic spells and items after reading 2 articles by angry moms from Baldur's Gate who discovered casting real spells can actually give you genital flumps. Checkmate, sorcerers. Instead of that, you can tinker with items to imbue them with special properties like turning it into a flashlight, turning it into a scented candle, or turning it into a phone that can only record and play vines. The best part is that once you give the item the properties, it lasts forever, so go have fun enjoying your 7 seconds of fame before the service shuts down and you become a struggling vlogger. And speaking of messing with the natural properties of items, as you level up you gain infusions, which allow you to turn that sex toy you hide in the dresser from a basic vibrator to a vibrator. Infusions include, but are not limited to, boring stat increase, Thor's hammer, item dupe glitch, and go gadget blinka-boots! This is all due to your massive IQ rating of 20 billion, which is so high you can add your intelligence modifier to any of you or your ally party members' dice rolls and become the ultimate backseat gamer telling them about the bad guy's weak spots because there's no way their simple minds could have figured it out on their own. And if that doesn't work out, you can use one of the 50 magical items you've made yourself and refuse to part with like someone on an episode of Hoarders, or pull a fast one and throw the magical vibrator that you secretly stored a charge of fireball in. Being the new class that it is, the Artificer only has 3 subclasses so far, and no, I'm not going to cover the new ones that come out. Stop asking, I just want to go on vacation with my sword and shield already. The Alchemist is like a drunk doctor and gains a few healing spells, can buff allies with the power of drinking and gambling, and can help you grow closer bonds with your pets. If you want a big fuck-off gun, the Artillerist can create an Eldritch Cannon that can either fire 3 different kinds of artillery or just sit there contributing nothing while you marvel at your amazing craftsmanship, because keeping track of more than one thing on the board is hard, isn't that right, Dungeon Master? And lastly, the Battlesmith, where you decide to stop being a puss baby and join the fight with a mystery-solving robo-dog sidekick. Ranger. Overall, the Artificer loves making, finding, and using loads and loads of magical items, which means you'll probably forget about half of your inventions because players can't be trusted to even remember the items they started with at the beginning of the campaign. Just make sure to keep them under good security so the rogue doesn't steal them all while you long rest and suddenly you wake up to the sound of Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. Now you know how to play Artificer. You're welcome.
Yay. We'll watch just the class ones for today. I've readjusted my chair. Blay. Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun. I'm comprehending. I comprehend. I do wonder what... Bye, Mom. I do wonder, what is like the... See, I know that they're easy to understand because I play D&D, so I'm like, ah yes, that's what's going on. But I do, are they easy to understand if you also don't know D&D? You know? I don't know. Because obviously it's a guide to D&D. No, we have 2 more classes on top of those. True. Joe! Thank you so much for the 5 months! Thank you, thank you! Thank you, thank you, thank you! Thank you for 5 months, Joe! Thank you, thank you! This is how I learned D&D? Really? Oh, that's fun. Somewhat, I don't play D&D? Nice. Yeah, I'm glad they're still understandable. If, like, you don't know the source material. Before I forgo it, put the salt lick recipe in suggestions, just don't add the fish. Hell yeah, thank you! Yippee! Awesome. Go thrown into the deep end of RPGs? That makes sense. I've seen people who don't know much watch them and understand. Nice. Hey, Joker. Yeah, we just finished watching a bunch. I do think now Icket Claw. I think they're easy enough to get vibes-wise, but I learned D&D slowly over time through Critical Role. Yeah, I learned, like, the basics through Dimension 20. I learned the basics through, Fantasy High Season 1. Which was a good way to learn, because, like, those players were also, like, a lot of them were playing for the first time. So it was easy to learn through that. It's a great way to learn D&D and Monster Hunter. I haven't played Monster Hunter. Should I play Monster Hunter? I really shouldn't add more to my list. What you think? I think. Okay, I think... It's been almost 4 hours. I think let's have a look for someone to raid into. Let's have a look for someone to raid into. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Just not Monster Hunter Wild unless you're a really beefy PC. Yeah, fair. Fair. Let's see. Who is alive? Who can I send you away to? Where's my YouTube? There it is. Wait, let me put my music back on. Where's my music? My music! There we go. I don't like the silence. Let's have a see. Where's my little button? Redirect. Search. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have options. Let's see. Where do we want to go? Could send you to... Let's see. I can close this now. Oop. Goodbye the screen. Thank you for the follow, welcome. Okay, let's have a look. Where should I send you away to? Who we rated? Not sure yet. I'm having a look. I'd like to send both to the same place, ideally. Ideally. Let's see. Let's see, let's see. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Okay. Let's go to... Maple, Leah, Emily, Cersei. Let's see. Yeah, we could go over to Cersei. Cersei's playing Azure Lane. Oh, for the first time, it seems like. What about... Okay, let's see. What would you like to watch? One of my joke cats playing Worms? Playing what? Oh, I've never played Worms. I've never played Worms. I have played the Worms level in Golf with Friends. And suffered immensely. That level is evil. The jetpacks are scary. Bye, sorry I can be here for stream. That's okay. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Get a collab together and play Worms. I really should. It'd be fun. That'd be fun. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I don't think I've ever raided Namimi before. We could go there. We could go to... I'm looking through my list of everyone I'm subscribed to and like cross-checking it with who else is live on Twitch. I'm cross-checking everything to make sure I can raid into the same place. Yeah, let's go to Cersei. Let's go over to Cersei. Slash raid Cersei. Yeah, she's still alive. Soulstorm. raid Sassy Soulstorm. Sassy Soulstorm. And over here as well, if I can find where she is in my subscriptions. There she is. Bop. It looks like she's doing a collab as well. So go say hi to both of them. And I'm gonna go eat some lunch. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a good morning, / evening, / night. I don't know what time it is for you. I don't know where you live. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye.